What's going on, YouTube? William Berry here, coming at you with another hot, spicy take. Today we're doing Ginger Beard Bros. What's the best I got?
Nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah. All right.
You know my beard is red.
Bro, we all
I don't have a beard.
Yeah. Today we got special guests. We got our boy Fry, and then we got our boy Senpai Silver.
Yo, what's poppin'?
We also got Kratos.
Kratos.
I just kind of got dragged in here. I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, we tried to kick him out. He just won't leave. So he's gonna be a part. He's gonna be a part of it now.
He's like one of those homeless people. You give him change, and he just keeps coming back.
Change.
You've already been canceled, Will. It's too late.
Oh yeah, we already know. Listen, we gonna get canceled day one. This is episode motherfucking 1. We tried this once before, and Josh couldn't stop breathing into his microphone.
I could do that now if you want. Like,
No, we cool, bro. I gotta try to fix all that editing, bro.
Like an ASMR podcast hybrid.
Like, you ever try to sleep next to a fat man? This is what it sounds like.
Oh God.
Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'll somehow get canceled before I even have a following. That's hilarious.
Bro, what are you talking about? You got that sweet Lee Sin, please?
Nah, dude. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna run for political office in like 20 years, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, so you're on a podcast, and you said something about fat people and breathing. What was that about?"
No. See, you're gonna be the voice of reason on this podcast. While we're the terrible ones. You're gonna be the ones calling out our racist, homophobic ways.
Yeah, dude, you're fine. You're lefty, bro. You literally have the backing of the mainstream media and everybody else. And you're fine. It'll be swept right under the rug, bro.
Wait, I'm on the left too. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean,
Will, you gotta stop peddling that lie, dude. I mean, I was on board with you for a while, and the more I kept listening to you, I was like, nah, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it at all.
Bro, what you mean, bro? You know, people like Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, the Amazing Atheist. Bro, they're left. Matter of fact, the Amazing Atheist is probably as socialist as you get.
What the? All right, look. Whenever it comes to Richard Dawkins, I don't know his alignment because I don't think he's like an American. I don't think he adheres to the American like political parties. But however Richard Dawkins is, I think he's just a biologist and he tells things about his background.
Yeah, he used to admit that he was on the left back before. Before the left lost their mind, like people like Stephen Fry. I love me some Stephen Fry.
Hold on. Golf clap, and the Trump did too.
Oof.
Hard burn, right?
I don't even know what you just meant by that, dude.
No, he's saying that Trump used to be a left-leaning person. Yeah.
Oh no, Trump was never left-leaning, bro. He just paid left-leaning politicians to fucking, be politicians.
Hold on, wait a second. I'm starting to notice a trend: left-leaning people getting paid to do things. Wait a second. Hold on. Okay, no, it doesn't mean anything.
Shut the fuck! How many right-wing psychopaths got paid to be right-wing psychopaths?
What, you mean like Boebert? Oh yeah, totally.
All of them.
Like Ted Cruz? That dude is fucking insane.
Dude, Ted Cruz is Emperor Palpatine. We just don't realize it.
Texas freezes over. My dude says, "Yep, I'm gonna take all my money and go to Cancun." That's hilarious. And then whenever he gets caught with his dick in his hands, man goes, "No, it was for my daughters." And then they were like, "Oh, okay, with all your money, you were gonna send your daughters."
No, hold on. Dude, his daughters were probably like, "Oh yeah, see that bus coming down the street? We about to get thrown under it."
So don't even go there with it's just the fucking left, bro. You guys have Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is such a fucking
dude. No. Mitt Romney is a closet Democrat, and you
No. Mitt Romney is such a fucking capitalist. This piece of shit buys companies, absolves all of their assets, and then fires everybody.
He's also a Mormon, dude. What do you expect, dude?
You can't say shit like that. That's not
right. Oh my god. Yes,
Canceled.
I can. Dude, these people don't even know if they're going to heaven when they die, man. Ask one.
Oh my god.
Canceled.
This is why Republicans come off as racist, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. That is
people
true.
on the right, they're so fast to like put people in boxes, you know, and that's the problem.
Are we? No. No, I believe that's the left right now.
I mean, as much as I want to say, yeah, it's not as prevalent. Like, think about it,
hold
about
on.
it.
Okay, go ahead.
Like with the right, it's really funny because they're like, "Oh, you're a bitch," and then they put you in the bitch box, right? Or they go, "Oh, you're a communist," so they put you in the communist box, and then like all of a sudden, and the problem with the boxes is that they feel like that they don't have to listen to your arguments after the fact, right?
But can you
like, let's say you say anything about religious institutions within the United States, right? And so they go, "You hear that? This person's a fucking heathen box," and then boom, none of your arguments matter. And
okay, I agree with. I actually agree with you there because, like, of course, it'd be center right. Like, I'm not a part of that like hardcore religious debacle. Like,
right.
So I understand. I do, trust me. I grew up with whips and chains.
Whoa, no, you're gonna put his feet to the fire too, motherfucker. How are you gonna sit there and say that? Like, no, the left started that. The left spearheaded that shit.
I wouldn't say all that.
They're literally,
okay,
they're
let's hear it.
no. They're literally the people that fucking depowered the word racist, fascist, Nazi, like words that had actual meaning. The left was just like, let's apply this to anyone who voted for Trump. You disagree with me? Fascist.
There were definitely people on the left that were doing that. I'm not saying that they weren't.
Hold on,
But
they typically have blue hair and like to do social gathering events.
But what I'm saying is that whenever people are acting like a fascist, and then someone calls them out for being a fascist, and they're like, "Oh, what do you mean I'm being a fascist? I'm not Hitler." Like, that wasn't the point. Fascist tendencies do not require you to do A, B, C, D, and E.
So if someone is saying, "Hey, maybe we should police our people," that's a little fascistic or whatever. I don't know how you would say that. But then straight up punching the guy is fascism.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Bro, okay, like let's talk about like this ridiculous guy named Richard Spencer, okay? Like, he's a straight up white nationalist piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, he's a white nationalist.
Yeah, he's a straight up piece of shit. These fucking people that are like anti-fascism will go assault a guy while talking about fascism.
I mean, white nationalists are typically fascist.
Right, okay, but I mean, it's
I'm not
still
saying that they're, always equivalent, but generally they are.
right, yeah, no, yeah. So they're probably fucking very authoritarian in their nature, but as long as they're not actually being authoritative to you, what does it matter? But like, if a guy is just existing in the world and not actually putting his shit on you, and you come up assault him because you've labeled him racist or labeled him white supremacist, whatever the fuck, like, even if he is those things, it's not okay to fucking attack the guy for his beliefs.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it's okay to attack.
So the irony of like, fuck fascism by being fascist. Let's go. Like,
well, dude, it's like, you ever heard the argument? You got to fight fire with fire, dude. I guess you got to fight fascism with fascism, dude. I mean,
so
it makes sense.
It's this weird dynamic, right? Because I feel like whenever you look at like left-leaning people, they come in all sorts of like shapes and sizes, like
and
they
genders.
have different
There's
backgrounds.
Yeah. Thousand genders and blue hair.
They agree with like a bunch of different things and disagree with other things, right? But what I find weird is that whenever you take a fascist on the right, let's say Trump, who has fascist tendencies, if you will, somehow the far right finds a way to motivate the rest of the right to vote for Trump, even though he might just be a villain, right?
Wait, hold on, but like I voted for Trump, and I don't think he's a fascist. And before that, I voted for Hillary.
No comment.
I'm just like.
Okay, look. Okay. I'll give it to you this way. round one, I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote for anybody because I was like, no, fuck both these people. I don't know anything about what they're going to do, what they're going to offer, right? I did vote for Trump the second time around because
Fascist.
yeah, because fuck Biden.
Yeah, and I mean,
And,
there are a lot of.
and hold the phone. He's proving me right day by day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Trump was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get us out of Afghanistan," and then sent more people to Afghanistan. It's just my man's. He's a little weird, you know. Like it seems like he kind of just goes with the flow of whatever is going on. But
Well,
the flow
actually,
generally
but-
tends to be some like far right neoliberal, like really spooky shit, you know, like the Muslim ban. That shit was awful.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
that was fascist. That was
a little nuts. Or
Yeah.
the China virus, the Chinese flu.
Well, I mean,
literally,
wait, you do. Hold on. He
My
does
man?
a pretty good Trump. He does a good Trump. Do it again.
the China. My man was pushing that shit so hard, right? To like alienate a group of people so that they were the villains and he could continue to stay in power because he has this good guys, bad guys dynamic. And that is, my friend, that is like elemental to fascism, that us versus them. They're the bad guys. We're the good guys.
Okay, but hold on. Fast forward till now, though. Look at what we have. We have like what COVID mandates going out state by state.
Mhm.
You know,
As they
things like
should.
that. That's fucking fascism, bro.
Is it though?
That's literally yes, dude.
What is?
Like that?
What is?
Look, I'm not anti-vax. Don't think that at all. Like I believe
Okay.
vaccines do what they're supposed to
he's
do.
got the
Right?
vaccine in his left balls. Sorry.
Oh my god, that's exactly. No, I believe in vaccines. I haven't got mine yet, just because I want a little more clinical proven things, and then like I'll be 'cause, like I'm that guy who like I'm unfortunate. Like I have really bad luck. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like if I went and got that, I'd come out like 3 shades of autistic, and I'm already borderline there. So it's like like it would fuck me up, and I know it.
Yeah,
So I want to see a little more clinical studies. It's not that I'm saying like I don't believe they don't work, because like, dude, I've gotten other vaccines, flu shots, you name it, I go get it done,
Oh, yeah.
right? But what I'm trying to say is like when you sit here and you tell an entire country you have to do it,
Mhm.
fuck your rights, fuck your feelings. That's fascism, like on a fucking fundamental level. And I mean, and again, all those guys out there that are like anti-vax, I think they're fucking retarded. Okay, but on another level, I want freedoms need to be that's my individual freedom is to go pick and choose what I want to do with my own body, and that's where I would also argue where abortion. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is like I think everybody has the right to choose what they want. And that's what one of my biggest arguments with the right is like, oh, well, abortion is murder. Well, it's like, dude, like you're sitting there saying that and you don't want to get a fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it clashes against each other. Again, that's why I'm center right. Like I kind of see both sides of the spectrum here, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer or a fucking moron either.
You talking about, man?
So like, oh, go on, Will.
To tackle back to the original thing though, like when you were sitting here saying, well, like Trump wanted to make sure that there was a villain.
He did it a lot. Very
Yeah.
often.
But is that inherently wrong?
Well,
Yes.
okay. I actually hold on to add to that. There's always been that dynamic in America because that's like, okay, think of it this way: World War II, who was the villain? Yeah, obviously the Nazis. Past World War II, who did we need? Well, we needed the Viet Cong. We got them. That was our villain. After that, what did we have? We had, before the Viet Cong, sorry, we had, the Russian scare, the, communist scare, and Senpai would agree with that.
Okay, but my problem is China released a virus, not intentionally, but China released a virus that globally affected the entire world and all of the world's economies. China then got their dick sucked by the World Health Organization and every other fucking thing that can even talk about the issue because they have a dictatorship. They can shut down their country and not worry about the individual rights of their people because they don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, they
So-
were
so-
like welding
so-
people into
so-
their own fucking houses, bro.
Yeah, so so China's doing all of this shit that is considered evil, and is getting their dick sucked while also being so haphazard with their own shit they released a fucking pandemic. China needs to be held responsible for this shit. I'm not saying Chinese people are responsible, but the Chinese government is. So that, yeah, they are the villain. They fucked
And
over the
see,
world.
Here's the problem. We've already established an issue here, and it's how you're wording it, right? It was this rhetoric discussion that we had before. You keep saying released, and then you absolve them of quote unquote releasing said virus, but they released it. Like, this is very Alex Jones conspiracy theory.
Okay, well, whether
kind
it's an intentional release or not, it's still a fuck up on the Chinese government.
No, I admit, yeah, sure, they fucked up. That's cool. But then again, this has happened a lot, and over the course of history, it has come from different nations.
Right,
it
but
is not one individual.
yeah, but how many times has the world shut down? Like, never.
How many times did the world shut down? I mean, there were a few pandemics.
There were some
the known
pandemics,
world
but
had to shut down.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the last real one was the Spanish flu.
Right, yeah, but
knows,
the world
right?
didn't shut down. You weren't locked into your doors and had your rights taken away from you. Like, this is a first-time thing ever, and I would say that the way that both the United States, even Donald Trump, and the way that the world at large handled it was incredibly poor. And then while we're sitting here bashing Trump because he's not telling governors to lock his people indoors, like governors to lock their people indoors, we're sitting here sucking the dick of the organization that let it happen in the first place. That's like if your wife cheats on you, but she also brought you some money, so it's like, okay, it's like, wait, what? What? You caused the biggest pandemic in history?
Wait, the wife caused the pandemic?
Well, yeah.
Okay, but like, hold on. But what do you mean by like hold them accountable, right? Because let's say this was an accident.
They should be fronting a lot of the goddamn money for a lot of these things.
Okay, how would they do this?
Bro, we would literally be like, yo, you're going to start paying for like each goddamn country's ability to fucking hand out the vaccine. It shouldn't come from just our government. And if you're not willing to do that, then all of these countries destroy your ass.
Okay, cool. Understand that the United States did not develop the COVID vaccine. The only one that has been completely approved by everything, which is the Pfizer vaccine. We
Right.
didn't develop that. Neither did China. It was in Germany.
Right, but China should be fronting the bill on a lot of this shit when it's their accident that got loose.
You're saying that it came from China, so China should pay for the vaccine.
I'm not saying all of it, but they should be fronting that shit. Yeah, they're one of the richest countries in the entire world.
Okay, so that's fine. I could see that if they would end up paying for the research. But do you think that would be enough for someone like Trump?
Oh no, I don't. But see, I'm not concerned about enough for someone like Trump.
No, but see, here's the problem, right? The us versus them mentality. Because you're toting this, they need to pay, but the way how in which we're like assuming they would have to pay is like fucked. Because we're like, oh, they need to pay. And then all of a sudden it becomes, well, they need to pay for like every family that lost a person, or this needs to happen, or that needs to happen. Like, it's this very vague, they're the enemy. And it's that again. And what happens to that kind of or at least that kind of rhetoric, is that it drives a whole bunch of people to look for answers. And if they can't find them, they create their own. And that is fucking dangerous, because people get attacked in the streets for legitimately no reason.
Well, they're going to get attacked regardless of whether you egg them on or not. Those people are just looking for any excuse to pull the trigger.
They're looking for an excuse to pull the trigger. Why give them one?
Because no matter what you do, you're going to give them one. People are...
Hold on. Can I add to this? It's tribalism, people. We deal with it even in our own country, obviously. But yeah, I mean, dude, that's the way the world works. Until borders are gone and there actually is one world government. Hold the phone; it'll be here shortly.
Under China.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's because, dude, honestly, if you look at it, like the communists, the way that they do things is more efficient, and it takes away individual liberties in order. It's sacrificing the greater good for the greater good. That's literally what it boils down to. It's like what Spock once said: the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Right, but that is inherently wrong.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. However, it is a better model.
I believe it is a better model, because here's the problem, right? Under capitalism, it's the needs of the wealthy outweigh the needs of the poor.
No.
But again, but here's the difference. The difference is you're also going to have wealthy in a communist state as well. Like, obviously, the closer you are to the party, the better off you're going to be. I mean,
The better off you're going to be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes looking at
so
fucking North Korea to figure that out.
the only one that's rational is that because like the needs of the individual have to be paramount. Because if not, then those that are not protected, like the individual poor people, the people that are almost no different than modern day serfs or slaves, will be the ones trampled. The people that are the downtrodden and the poor, the way that they have a chance is through capitalism, because there's no way they're ever going to advance otherwise.
So part of my problem with the whole, like, whenever people try to, like, or at least whenever people speak like communism, capitalism, and socialism, the way in which how we understand capitalism or how we look at it is how it's been practiced in the world, as well as the model that it is supposed to be led at. The issue with capitalism is that it assumes that everyone is going to have the same power at the beginning, and then the scales will eventually balance themselves out, and it'll reset every here and now to where, you know, people who do well will exceed, or at least succeed, and then others will, you know, not do so well.
Capitalism
They won't be worse off. But communism... But the fun thing about communism, whenever people talk about communism, is that they just simply talk about how other governments have handled communism, and then they say that is communism, when that is not the truth.
Yeah, but if every other government can't figure it out,
they say, oh, well, this is how the government has implemented socialism, and this is what they are. That doesn't necessarily make them a socialist nation, but if they call themselves socialist, and they do a few things that we would call socialist, then all of a sudden, that's socialism, when in reality, it's simply not.
Right, but I mean, so like, for example, if everyone that has tried it already didn't make it succeed, and like you have a country like China, which is a communist country that has fucking riots all the time in their major cities of people rocking the American flag saying they want freedom. Like, why would we go to that?
And recently Cuba as well, I might point out.
I mean, and you know, I mean, again, the need of an individual must be paramount, because at any opportunity, one of us could be the individual, and you wouldn't want your rights taken away for the sake of someone else's. And that's why I think that America has been able to do largely what it's done well for the past. Because like in America, you're promised, like, we're all eventually going to, like, we're all just millionaires. We're just waiting for our turn to shine. That's the way that it's sold to you, right? Even though realistically it's not the case. Realistically, you're going to work the rest of your life for a fucking $20,000 job, and you're going to fucking live paycheck to paycheck forever, while a majority of people that got married or were fortunate enough to go that route can live above you. You know what I mean?
Right. And see, that's the key. Like, look, it's a gamble. Okay. And the gamble is, can you play the cards you're dealt right? That it's like a poker game, you know? And unfortunately, this is poker without bluffing. I mean, even though, you know, half the time lying on a resume, which, you know, 99.9% of the time is how people get a job, is because they're bullshit artists. But the problem is you have to present yourself as this figure, or you have to stand out amongst the crowd. And if you don't, you're just gonna, you know, live a mediocre life. Like, dude, I live a mediocre life, and dude, even if I had $1 million, I wouldn't even know what to fucking do with it. I mean, other than maybe buy crypto, you know. But I mean, the fact of the matter is everybody is guaranteed that right, unless and that's where I'm getting at, where I understand where Will's coming from. You know, communism may be a better, more efficient model as far as like gearing humanity like to get off this fucking rock, because, you know, fuck your life, go out to space, you fucking bastard, because you scored high and you know what you're doing out there in space, but you're fucking expendable. You know, like the object is as my honest opinion is, our object is to get the fuck off this planet and start colonizing other planets, because unfortunately that big old burning ball of fucking fire ain't gonna be up there for fucking ever, and it only takes one fucking meteor or asteroid stray its fucking path to hit Earth. It's happened, you know, and we're fucking toast. So that's where I understand where fucking communist China could probably, be like, okay, we built a rocket, I understand that. But at the same token, I agree with Will that, what, the human rights to an individual given to us by your creator, insert whatever the fuck you believe in, spaghetti monster or Jesus. Okay. But the fact is we're born free. And that's just the way it is, and I think that's what Will's trying to get at is like other countries want what we have. Like they want the right to go, you know what, fuck this job. I'm tired of being a plumber. I'm gonna go be a fucking electrician. Because you can't do that in a communist country. Unfortunately, your job is dictated to you. However, I can understand on some level, because for instance, I never understood why in a society we live in, I have to be able to understand mathematics to be a fucking stand-up comedian. Like, that is so stupid. Why do I need to know the fucking circumference of a goddamn stage before I get out there and tell the fucking joke? No, I don't.
Well, unless you're doing a lot of physical shit.
It is not solely inherent to communism that your job is dictated to you.
Right, but unfortunately, every model of communism has done that. That's
every time it has been attempted, yes, they have done such a thing.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm just pointing that out. Like, I understand if again, we've had the talk before. I agree. There needs to be a comfortable medium between a socialist state and a fucking free market. I think China's done that relatively pretty well. I just don't agree with how they've handled their citizenry. That's all I have an issue with.
Oh yeah, locking people up for having different beliefs is a pretty
or you're a weaker Muslim. Go work the mines, you fucking cunt.
So, for example, a free market is not exclusive to capitalism. That isn't necessarily how that works. And so, ultimately, whenever you, how would I say? However you look at it, if you have a democratic nation where the people actually have a say whenever it comes to how their government handles things, and then you implement an economic system in which, tries to benefit the needs of their people, meanwhile allowing people to, impose or work within such market, I feel like if that's achievable, then it should. But generally, it doesn't happen in the, within the countries of the world. Communism or socialism has to come from the backs of another system that exists. Kind of like how capitalism was built off the back of feudalism back in the 1600s. And capitalism wasn't a success right off the jump either. And so it's just one of those things where you have to kind of compare it, look at what has happened in the past, what were the mistakes, and how do we implement fixes to said mistakes. And I feel like democracy is generally going to be the answer.
Whoa! Sorry, a spider came across my shit.
Hell yeah.
He wanted to be involved.
He's like, let me add Century. I want some of this.
He wasn't an actual spider, ladies and gentlemen. He was a Mexican, and he's just known as Spider. Oh. Hey man, I knew a few. Okay, I knew a couple cats named Spider. I even knew a guy named Frog one time.
They're fast. What do you do?
Sorry, let's man, we didn't even that wasn't even a talking point. We just went to town, baby. We just went dick deep. Let's, dude. I got something though that's a little. It's based off of the idea of of a political shit, but it's not necessarily like a politically driven thing. It should just be, scientific or whatever. And that would be the failure of men in this modern age. Like how?
Oh, you mean how everybody's a fucking beta male now?
I mean, I wasn't gonna go that route, but sure.
No, everybody's a fucking beta cuck boy, bro. Like it's happened. I think the old saying goes, hard times make strong men make good times, and then good times make weak men, or something like that. And it just keeps going on in that circle.
Well, yeah.
That guy didn't hit that woman for speaking her mind. Cuck.
To the moon, Alice! To the moon!
I wouldn't necessarily say. I feel like there is a lack of wanting to pursue competency, because competency is usually misconstrued as power, and whenever the root of an organization or the root of an individual is primarily built around power, it would be built around the premise of corruption. But like personally, the idea of telling someone to get their shit together and then start being the best version of themselves at any given time can only further provide a better supplement to the surrounding situations that we all live in.
Well, I'll hold on. I want to add to this because, like, I want you to think about it this way. Like, my brother, like, I come from a family of 7, right? My oldest brothers they were all shit kicking cowboys from the fucking Midwest. You know, were born and raised on a fucking farm. You know, my dad was a fucking, farmer's son. My grandfather was a farmer, Western Kansas,
What you got in kicking cowboys?
Nothing. I just ate one. You see what I'm saying? I have nothing against them because I worked the farm a couple of times. I've milked 100 head of cow, cow. I know what it's like to put in that hard work. I've done it before. Not on the daily, but I used to help out every time I'd come up, as a child. But I was raised in the city. And here's the deal. My older brothers, all of them know how to wrench. They know how to fucking build shit. They all know how to fucking fix their own cars. I was spoiled living in the city. I didn't have to do any of that because it's like, my dad always hated it. He's like, you're the smartest of my sons. But
you're yeller.
Yeah, pretty much. No, and it's true. Like, dude, even all my brothers, they know it. They know I'm not fucking. They know that I'm probably the smartest one, most educated. I could talk about just about anything. But can I go out there and wrench on a fucking car? I mean, it's pretty minimal. I can change oil. I could fucking change an air filter. I could do basic shit. Just a basic.
That's 80% of what we do, man. Come on now.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to get at is like, dude, like I was raised in a city and I was spoiled because I didn't have to do any of that. My dad he hated it that he never taught me how to get out there with fucking power tools and like fucking, take tires off and change them. Like the one time my oldest brother, I lived with him for a little while and he did teach me how to like change brake pads and shit. So I actually know how to do that. It's a long, arduous fucking process, but I can do it if I had to, but he had to sit there and teach me like step by step. Yeah. And it's one of those things where like, dude, I'm not good with tools. I'll be honest with you. I'm not Bob the fucking Builder. I can't do it. Like I'd assume just hire a motherfucker who knows what the fuck they're doing and get it over with. Now, what I can do well is like, what do you want to know about history? What do you want to know? Do you want me to write an essay for you? I can do that relatively pretty easily. Like you want me to work on my punctuation? I can do all that crap. I just can't do any kind of math or wrench on shit, But again, you see, like, nah, fuck off, kid. Nah, that's where I differ because I love hunting. I love motorcycles. I love going out there and getting pussy, bro. Don't even dare call me a beta male.
Hey, man, a man should be able to fix his car. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I could do the basic shit, dude. But dude, I know, but that's what you do for work, so you know how to do it, I bet you didn't fucking just say, you know what, I want to be a grease monkey and just fucking say I'm going to throw myself into it. You probably had some kind of experience because I believe to some degree you and me kind of had kind of the same upbringing because from my understanding, your dad was pretty far right and like just like my dad,
Oh, dude, my dad is the definition of the right wing.
Dude, my dad's so far right wing he hates the Republican Party. Like how right wing my dad is.
My dad is so right. He's like, the fuck is these pussies up here talking about? I'm like, Dad, they're talking about equal rights.
Back in my day, we sprayed the black people.
Oh my god, no.
Like, see, and like the worst part, like my dad is actually a really good guy. He's just
they're set in their ways.
He's 80 years old, and he remembers a time that well, I mean, let's say he was a teenager when Martin Luther King got shot. Like, You know, like
Yeah, dude. Okay,
The FBI.
hold on. And to give you an idea, my dad is literally like 75, so he's not far off from Will's dad.
Yeah. So I
Fun
remember.
fact:
yeah.
the FBI shot Martin Luther King because he was an avid socialist.
I mean, if there's gonna be like, I'm glad they shot him for that instead of for being black. I mean, hey, look at that, dude! America's working in the right direction.
Individual freedoms guy.
Hey, look! If we had to kill a guy, I'm glad we killed him over not being black. Look, I'll take that. I would rather us be scared of socialism than hating black people. I'll die on that hill. Woo! America's not inherently racist. We only shot it. No, but like I remember telling him, I was like, Dad, because I was 20, man, and I had a hard time finding work because 20 years old, 6'5", 350 pounds. I look like a goddamn demon. And I'd be like, Dad, man, it's so hard to find work. No one hires unless you have experience. And he's like, you know what I did when I was your age? When I was 14 years old, I was paving roads. Like with asphalt.
I mean, hold up. That old man probably ain't lying because I'm gonna tell you what. My dad straight up. Okay, because I told you, country boy upbringing, working out on the farm. Dude, my dad told me, he goes, I remember the first day I went out there at about 11 years old, and I told my old man, my grandpa, he's like, I told my old man, you know what? I want to help out. He goes, your grandfather never looked back. He goes, all right, you want to help? Here it comes. And my dad would tell me, he'd be like, Josh, it was literally like this. I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd go do my fucking farm chores, feed the animals, all that crap. He goes, then I'd go to school and I'd walk there, which was a mile to school. And I know because I've seen that stretch a mile down that dirt road, and I know that old man ain't lying to me. And, then he would, go to his school. Then he would do after school sports, basketball and all that crap, because my dad was an avid basketball player, and that's actually still his favorite sport. Anyhow, then he would go back to the farm, do more chores, go to bed at around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, turn around and get up at 4 o'clock and do the same shit every fucking day until he was fucking like 18. Went and did 1 year of college, and then out of college became like a fucking my dad did everything from working at like Boeing and Cessna here in Wichita, which is air capital of the United States.
Yeah, same exact shit my dad did.
Yeah. And then not only that, then he started he actually did like door to door life insurance sales, and my dad was actually really good at that. And then dude, he's done every goddamn thing you can imagine, and then just ended up becoming a fucking truck driver. So it's dude, I've never seen anybody work harder than my old man. I'm talking dude, at the age of 68, he was like, I hate to retire, but I'm going to. I know it pisses him off because my dad to this day, 75 years old, will still get up and be like, man, fuck the fucking sun. I got to get shit done. And it's dude, that old man just doesn't understand the meaning of slow down.
Does he even have friends?
No, my dad has maybe 2, 3. And at that, he never talks to him.
Exactly.
It's dude, my dad's just one of those very driven people. He used to always tell me, he goes, if I had your fucking brains and my drive, and I said, well, what? He goes, I'd be a fucking quadrillionaire right now.
But see, that is the punishment of capitalism right there. It's this man worked his entire life.
It's not like my dad made it out poor. Dude, my dad played his financial.
I'm not saying he's poor or anything. I'm just saying he doesn't know how to turn it the fuck off.
No, he doesn't. No, my dad, and see, that's the thing. Now, granted, now he's retired. Yeah, there's some days where he just be like, I'm just gonna fucking sit in today.
Oh, we'll see.
And but at the same time, he'll be pissed off that he did.
Yeah, my dad is the same motherfucker, dude. My dad retired at 60 something or 70 something because remember I was adopted late into life, bro, my dad when I was 18 was 65.
Mm-hmm.
And
to give you an idea, there's exactly a 40-year difference between me and my dad. My dad was 40 years old when I was born. Right now I'm 35, makes him 75. So, you know, like, dude, and all my older brothers and all my older siblings are like, you got fucking lucky. And I'm like, what do you mean I got lucky? They're like, dude, dad used to be a fucking asshole. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's not now? And they're like, no, he's pretty mild mannered now. And I'm like, what do you mean? They told me a story. You go, dude, one time he came home and he got tired of fucking stepping on toys and shit. He goes, dude, the old man straight up took all our fucking toys, threw them in the back of the fucking car, took them to the fucking wheat bin where you throw all, like, you know, your old chaff and shit to get rid of it. Like, he threw all their fucking toys in there and said, fuck you, you get new ones later.
What a legend.
Like, dude, that's the old man. And like, dude, Trey actually knows my dad. He's like, dude, like he's like the most like calm, collected, like cool-headed guy.
With me. Unless he's driving, then he fucking tells off.
Oh yes, dude, my dad's got like the fucking worst. Yeah, dude, my dad's got road rage like you wouldn't believe. Like, oh my God.
I'd say what he's saying, but I'll probably get your podcast canceled.
No, that's cool. We don't have to go into. We don't have to go into detail. It's cool.
Example.
But
so wild.
So the point though is that, like, what do we do as a society to start pushing men? I mean, essentially to grow the fuck up.
Well, unfortunately, okay, go ahead, Senpai.
The problem that you have there is that your view of what you think a man is going to be different from everyone else's view of what they think a man is. Like, for example, I make $35K a year and I work from 2 laptops in my home. Does that make me less of a man that I cannot, you know, fucking fix my car? I have a broken car in my driveway right now.
No, by no means.
Make me less of a man?
No. A man
No.
Okay, let me define a man in the simplest terms. A man is a person who handles his shit and doesn't run from it and doesn't abdicate responsibility.
Okay, and
not a woman?
Well, I mean, to a degree, but that, I mean, yeah, but a woman could be that way too. I'm not saying that. I don't think Will's saying that. I think like what Will's trying to say. It's like, for instance, like for me,
I'm just
it's
pointing
like
out an issue with definitions.
Well, no,
right? No, I get it.
No, so like, women are protected people in our society, so they don't have to grow up. They just don't. They can marry into wealth. They can, you know, they are protected. You know, if there's a burning building, it is a man's job to run in there and risk his life to save her.
That's true. Yeah, women and children.
So women are protected. I don't give a fuck. And women.
That's why I love that. Hold on, that's why I love that Bill Burr joke. It's like, you want to know why I get $1 an hour more? It's because when the fucking ship starts sinking, you and the fucking kids get to get off the boat first. He goes, you want that fucking extra $1?
All right. Well, but another thing is that like women, they already have an entire society that's willing to, like, women spend every minute of their fucking young adult life, their childhood, being told they can do anything, being told that their job is the most important thing. Reach for the stars. You can do it. Let's push you through school. They get constant reformation from the media, from movies, from TV, from their family, from society at large. Everyone is telling women to go achieve what they can achieve. If a woman is having a bad day, it's your job to sit there and listen. You know, it's a different kind of versus a man. A man's job is just to provide. A man's job is just to facilitate whatever the needs are for the people around him. So a woman doesn't necessarily have to fulfill that same market, because a woman can be completely driven under the guise of like, hey, I want to be career driven and do it for 30 years or do it for 10 years. And then they hit 30 and they realize they're about to go through that menopausal type change, or where they can't have children. So then they usually, a large mass of them start leaving their jobs so they can start pursuing an at-home life. So whether they've grown up or have gotten their shit together is irrelevant at that point, because they've probably already had a significant other, because they control the market for that. But but to add to it, there's also a lot of career women. I mean, there's a reason there's that term. I mean, they're just focused on their careers and they don't even care to make a family. You know what I mean? Well, yeah.
There is that dynamic as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say largely that the number skews probably more to women start wanting to realize.
I agree. I think it's more inherent. Like, I think a woman is more inherent to want to make a family, because I think, like, at some point in their life, it just kicks in and say, "Hey, you need to pop out some children." And I think that's just inherently. I kind of want to say genetic. It's almost kind of like encoded in their DNA. But at the same time, I know some girls that, absolutely don't want children at all. Like one of my ex-girlfriends, like that's one of the main reasons we just kind of split is because like I wanted kids, she didn't.
Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with women choosing a career over children either.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even choosing a career. The woman just flat out didn't want kids. Like it's just like she to this day still has no desire. She's like, I don't want kids. I don't want a family. I just want a husband, maybe, and that's it. Just us two.
After seeing a lot of the buddies' friends, because like I don't have kids, and I've seen a lot of homies. Hell, my roommate's kid. After seeing kids like that, bro, I don't want to participate in the downfall of our civilization either.
I feel it. I feel it.
Well, see, that's another thing, sir. Like for example, I'm not going to name names or anything, but like, so I know a buddy of mine. He's raising a kid.
Oh, what's his name?
And I'm like, the kid, he's a pussy. Like, I'm like, hey, you should take him out, play a little football, or go do something with him. Teach him, take him camping, go do something. And he's like raised entirely on his tablet. Like, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna at least teach him some manly values, not necessarily to be
right.
Like,
yeah. Okay. And I okay. Coming from a generation, because obviously, I don't know. You're a couple years younger than me, but I think you would understand. I mean, we kind of grew up around a time where we didn't have tablets or cell phones. Hell, I mean, it was fucking 95. We got our first computer, and even at that, like, the internet was very limited.
Right.
It would take you 10 minutes to download a JPEG of a fucking woman.
Oh, dude, I remember trying to look at boobs at fucking 9 years old. It was like
the
scariest shit in the world. Click, minimize.
yeah, dude. NSFW, like, straight up, dude.
Mission Impossible shit.
Yo, dude, you hear the music playing, dude. And I remember a masturbation session only lasted like 4 photos, dude, because like by that time you're already done, dude. Like, I see an armpit.
Yeah, dude, we're getting there. Dude, yeah. So I mean, like, but we grew up at a time where we didn't have those kind of, I want to say luxuries, because I honestly, that's really what they are. But I think we had the TV, but I still remember my dad at the age of
only an hour of TV, or and then after that you got your ass beat.
No, yeah, right. No, it was more like, I remember my dad, I was 10 years old, and he told my mom, I'm going to get him his first BB gun, and my mom raised a fit about it. But I remember my dad taking me outside, and I'll never forget the lesson. I'll never forget him sitting there and handing me the gun. It was Christmas when I got it. And I remember him taking me outside, because South Texas was no snow. So it's like a cool 60 degrees, and I remember sitting out there with my dad on the porch, and he's like, okay, I'm going to show you how to load it. I'm going to show you how to shoot it. I'm going to teach you safety practices, all that crap. I still remember the words to this day. It was like, under no circumstances do you aim this at another human being unless your life is threatened. That is the only time it is okay to do so. And these are things that, like, to me, that was a manly thing. Now, most people would argue guns don't make a man, and I can agree with that. Right, but it was the fact it was a man-to-man thing. Father-son bonding. It's the same when he took me fishing for the first time. Right. These are things like I know how to go fishing. I know how to fucking go to fish.
Did he give you the speech when to pull the trigger? He's like, all right, now, son, squeeze it like a tit.
No, he never went that. No, he never went that far. But I remember right, being. Welcome back, sir. But I remember sitting there and my dad telling me, he's like, look, like he goes, exhale inhale when you're getting ready to pull the trigger, exhale when you pull. Right. And like that, it's because it helps steady your aim. That was the whole point.
I see a detriment to where we villainize masculinity under the guise of holding up. Whatever, like, apparently we just want guys to be girls now. I don't understand.
Well, and again, I mean, that's why, like, I think, if I had a son, unfortunately I had 3 girls, hopefully one of them turns into a dyke, but,
let's go!
I can only hope and pray. It'd be a top heavy Betty, right? But what I'm trying to say is like, like at some point I'm going to take my girls, with one of my guns, much preferably when they're probably about 12, 13, when they kind of got an idea. And I'm going to teach them the same things my dad taught me. It may not mean much, but to me, I'm going to pass it on to them because, and it's another reason why my kids, like my oldest, unfortunately because of COVID right now, and restrictions, can't do it. But my oldest, dude, I put her in karate as soon as she could start walking. And it's because I don't ever want it. I don't ever want to have that conversation where she comes home crying and she said, Dad, he put his hands on me. Because I'm going to tell you what, dude. I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to deal with that. I want to get that phone call from my daughter saying, Dad, you got to come bail me out. I fucked him up. That's the phone call I want to get. Right. I'd rather bail my daughter out of jail, and possibly have to pay for a lawyer. But that's what I'm saying. Like I have these things.
Again, though, that none of this really addresses the issues of men.
Right, I know. But what I'm trying to say is, to some degree, I want to instill that kind of thing into my daughters, even though they are girls.
Yeah, I know, but women already have that huge plethora. That they already have that safety net.
Right, I get it, but I didn't have any boys, despite my many efforts. I wanted my own son. Trust me, I wanted to do that catch.
He said I was busting nuts.
Dude, I did 3 of them, man. Actually, more than that, but I just ended up with 3, right? But I did want my own son, dude. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Dude, I say that all the time. Sure.
So what do you think, Senpai? What do you think we do to try and bring back a little masculinity? Not necessarily to be the mainstream, but like to be.
We're not saying 1950s Beaver Cleaver be the evil wife masculinity either.
Not be the evil face of the earth right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Essentially, what I think the case is going to be.
Hold on, I like it when you get close to the microphone. Do it again. You got a silky ass voice, baby. Let it flow. Let it flow.
Essentially, what I believe the point is going to be is that for most people, and I think it goes for everyone, is just kind of like it's like the golden rule, right? Like it all comes back to treat others in which you wish to be treated. Some of that shit.
That's out of the Bible.
Because
just throwing it out there. That's the Bible.
Actually, that's a Chinese thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but how close was the Jews to China, bro? They're pretty close, right? Yeah, it's the Middle East and East. Yeah, that's kind of a Eastern, Middle Eastern teaching. Even the Muslims teach that too. But anyhow, keep going.
The fuck that's
teaching. Everybody does it.
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know, dude.
It's called the golden rule because almost every civilization disconnected from how most people wish to push that narrative. Anyways, whatever. Everyone has that kind of teaching, right? No matter what religion, no matter what society you look at, there's this idea that you should treat others the way you wish to be treated.
Hold on.
In addition, there's
what about
also
people that want to get their ass kicked.
Anyway,
I don't know how you address that. Yeah.
Hold on, let Senpai finish. I want to hear.
It's under the idea that people can pursue as many freedoms as they possibly can, as long as they do not inherently and or get in the way of other people pursuing such freedoms, right? Like, let's say, for example, you have a person that grows up in this country and it's super confusing and they don't know what to do. Everyone around them is either, a very hard man's man and the other one is like, some trans person or whatever. Like, it's all these conflicting ideals and it's really easy to get sucked into some kind of faction or the other. When at the end of the day, that person should just simply make decisions based off of what the fuck they want to do. And if they live in a society that allows them to do such a thing, that person can be emboldened in their thoughts and their opinions, their ideals. Because part of the problems that you run into is that whenever you try to pursue something, and hardships are gonna come with any pursuance, but it's whenever the pursuance is halted by an existing group or some kind of existing dogma, right? It's just there are limits to what you can and cannot do, and a lot of it revolves around money. Some of it revolves around social class. Others of it revolves around whatever you want to look at it.
The
There are
largest
too many
of it
hindrances.
revolves around religion.
There are too many hindrances in today's society, and I feel like it can make people feel discouraged from pursuing the things that they wish to pursue.
I can agree. I can agree.
Like right now, I'm salty as fuck because I have to do tech support. But if I could be a musician, if I could pursue that daily, I would.
I feel it.
No, yeah, but I mean, you still.
But is something hindering you from doing so?
Hmm?
I said, is somebody out there hindering you from doing so?
Money.
The music industry.
The music industry, money. Things of that nature.
Yeah, but I mean, so like, the real question is how much time would you spend on that? Like, for example, it's easy to say because I mean, obviously I'm a content creator. I do a bunch of YouTube stuff.
Not on the level you wish you could be at. But
no, yeah, but not on the level that I wish I could be at. And I mean, obviously, the quality of that is lackluster compared to what I think I could be if I spent a larger portion of my time on it. But
Will, you do realize that if you spend too much time on the things that you want to do, plus a lot of time at work that you always do, the quality of your work is going to go down, regardless of how hard you want it.
Right. But again, so like how much time would you actually dedicate daily
That's a good question.
to the things that you want to do? Because like, I mean, I'm all for a society that lets people pursue whatever they want to pursue. But I mean,
I agree.
they would have to be pursuing those things at a level equivocal of like how much they're willing to work. Because people go to work and they work 40 hours. Are you going to pour 40 hours of every week into your project that you would love to do? And then on
I
top,
believe that if it's an art passion project and I'm dedicating as much time to that as I am with work, eventually you run into this hill of like burnout depending on what kind of work you do. And so you just really don't get a chance to pour what you want to do into your work. The quality of your work goes down.
Right,
yeah.
and I mean, but that's a brick wall that most artists eventually reach, where they're almost going to make it. I want to say famous.
And that a majority of artists never crossover.
Right, yeah, because either and it depends if you have to, like, there's many factors involved, but I would say if you have dependents, like, for me, like, I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and, and a lot of people always give me that line of, it's never too late. It's like, motherfucker, like, do you understand how a struggling comedian, what they have to go through? It's like, I don't have that financial safety net.
well, I mean,
Once you have a family, it's too late.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I have a wife and kids. That shit ain't happening unless I get self-discovered.
I would entirely disagree though. Because like now we live in the age of technology where you don't have to go do the same shit you used to have to. Like 30 years ago, I would agree with you. Like 30 years ago, if you wanted to be a stand-up comedian, you'd have to be out there on the fucking. You'd have to be doing shows. You'd have to be doing the routines.
And now you can kind of do that from the convenience of your own home to some degree, like, and of course this podcast,
Right. Yeah. So now we live in a society that if your shit is good enough, if your shit is fire, upload it to YouTube. You could I've been telling people this for fucking because I know 3 people that are telling me, oh man, I can't make my music man on YouTube, or I make my music man right now, and I'm like, why? Well, what is physically stopping you? Well,
yeah,
a lot of people recording equipment.
I actually have music put on my YouTube, but I mean, like, all my music was created by a synthesizer, on the computer.
But my point is, they always come up with some bullshit. They always come up with like, oh, I don't have necessarily the proper equipment, or like, dude, there are people getting famous right now off of TikTok recordings
From their cell phone?
From their fucking cell phone. Do not tell me that shit. This is like, if your shit is good enough, and if your shit is fire, you share it, people will show up.
That's true. Yeah.
So like
That's not true.
That is
Well,
true.
no. Hold on. It's like, dude, like, actually, I'm sorry, I had to drop it to McDonald. Like, a man's self-made. The man's got millions of followers. $100.
So we could say there's a lot of people out there that are uploading very regularly and their shit is really good, but they are never discovered. Because it's contingent upon the idea of being discovered in the first place. You have to be promoted in some way, and or if you have the money, you can promote yourself. It's just very difficult to get on the world stage and or a fucking city stage, state stage, whatever, however big this stage is. You simply have to take all of them that you can, and then if you get discovered some way around the way, then great. But if you don't have the time for that, or if your work suffers because you simply work too much because you're trying to make ends meet and somehow supplement your hobby, like, man, if I want like a good guitar, like I was gifted a guitar. I couldn't have afforded the guitar that I had. I couldn't have afforded the bass that I had. I still don't have an amp in my hands. I don't have like, I have a couple of friends that are good in the studio. You know, like there are a few things that I can pursue avenues with. But by the time I'm done with work, dude, like, fuck, I'm fucking burned out. I'm drained.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
The mental burn, awful, because I work tech support. I'm using my brain all day trying to fix issues, and then by the time I get off work, I'm like, woo! You
Hold up, hold
pick up a guitar and make up a song?
Yes.
Go ahead, Fry.
I was just going to ask Silver here if he's the guy that people call when they can't figure out why their computer is not working, and the first thing you tell them is to unplug it.
Yeah, hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Hard reset it, bitch.
I
Hold
used to
on,
do computers, I do phones now.
I was gonna
Reset it. Got it.
I was gonna do a shout out because I used to do tech support with Comcast. Oh my boy, dude! I was good at my job though. Like I was so good at that. I was so good at my job that by 6 months, this is no shit. Or actually, by the third month, I was already a floor walker, which meant I no longer had to sit at the computer. I had to make sure everybody was doing their job. And then by the 6 month mark, I was already fucking like one of the high end techs that like I never had to do phone calls. I only monitored chats.
Yep, I monitor chats. That's what I do.
Yeah. We in my position, they called that floor support. I became floor support. Like literally, if an agent could not handle their shit, they would. In worst case scenario, they would transfer the call to me.
Yep.
And within a minute, I had the problem solved.
Yep.
That
That's
was
my
me.
entire job.
So
in my world, they call it the mobile subject matter expert. That's my role, and I work with Boeing. And Boeing sends all of their mobile problem children to me, and I fix their problems.
So here,
Wait, like Boeing Cessna? You mean like Boeing like the airline?
Yeah, anyone that works within Boeing, they call up the line, and if they have a phone issue and none of the tier ones can fix it, it ends up on my desk.
Wow, that's crazy. Because see, Boeing is here in Wichita. Like it's fucking huge here in Wichita.
Yep.
so
Yeah.
here's what I would say, and I'm not to belittle anyone because it sounds
go on.
It sounds like to me you're a manager-esque, right?
Well, yeah. Well, believe it or not, actually, his position and my position is technically considered managerial because, see, like if that agent couldn't handle that call, they would transfer it to me, even though I technically wasn't a manager. They like, for instance,
You're the person they send it to when they say, "Can I speak to your manager?"
Can I speak to your
exactly.
manager? They send it.
And I'm not.
So
and I wasn't even a supervisor. They just called them soup calls. You know.
So my thought pattern on that is every job I've ever worked, which has been numerous jobs at this point, management typically doesn't work as hard. Like,
you lie to me.
Right. Well, hold on, Will. But actually, see, hold on. I'm going to defend Senpai here because.
Well, no, but allow me, because like, all right, so like,
go ahead.
We're at a point where we're saying like a majority of your stuff, you're just checking what people are doing and making sure they're doing their shit right, which is something that you can do secondhand nature. Like in that time in between where you're getting your calls and shit, you could be thinking of like riffs and guitar, you know, like cool bridges that you could play and shit. Like I'm saying, like luckily management has more downtime than other positions, than especially mine. Like, dude, I work on a car only when we're overfilled with like their walk-ins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what Senpai's getting at, and I could speak on his behalf because I've been in the system. Like,
well, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying.
To give you an idea, for me, like when I did it, I had to monitor no less than 5 chats at a time.
Yeah, 5 chats. You're probably emailing back and forth to corporate and on your higher ups.
No, I never had to do that. No, because see, the ball ended with me. Like I had to resolve the issue, and what made me quit? This is a true story. What made me quit was a really pissed off Indian dude. I'm not even joking. So, okay, one of our techs went out to his house.
What does that have to do
installed
with
some
anything,
shit.
man? Like,
Hold up. Listen. All right, I was monitoring 5 chats. I was trying to deal with 5 different agents at a single time. And one of these agents handed me this fucking phone call, and I didn't want to take it because his supervisor was standing there bullshitting, and he could have taken the call. He refused to take the call. And it pissed me off to no end because I was busy with the other chats. I literally, you had to multitask. You're sitting there fixing, like, we used to have to do what they call roll and push a modem. If you've never done that, it's very technical. You have to, do all this fucking, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to send a reset to the modem. It's like, no, I'm actually in there fucking with the DNSs, with the fucking codes, everything like that. I'm rewriting the code on the fucking modem, sitting there trying to fucking get everything to fucking push through. And then at the same time, I'm having to speak to a pissed off Indian dude who's like, you don't understand. Your tech came up to my house and he fucked everything. No, you'll have to pay me. And I'm like, dude, I can only issue a $10 credit, bro. I can give you that credit all day long. It ain't going to fix your problem. Please allow me to send another tech out there. Perhaps this tech will know what he's doing. And he didn't want to fucking hear that. And I finally got pissed off. And I didn't hang up the phone because, see, the rule was you can't hang up the phone. So I just fucking threw my headset and I walked out. Oh, yeah. I literally I threw my headset at the fucking monitor and walked out.
Okay, but I mean, again, I've worked in that world too. Like I was at a call center. Now I wasn't higher up.
I was a call center. I was a call center too. But yeah, keep going.
But my point is that, like, they're in a managerial role, you have more creative time to potentially work on stuff. Like, because I work on YouTube videos while I'm at work.
That's I think your work is a little more lenient.
Oh
yeah. No, see, my job, I couldn't do that. There was no way. I technically,
my job.
Even when I worked as a call center, I worked on shit at work.
No. But listen, what I'm trying. Okay, look, at the dead of night. Okay, there's down period, and I will say this. Okay, it does happen, but it's about 1 to 2 hours before my shift was up, anyways. Okay, and that's not always the case. But like, for instance, certain days like Super Bowl Sunday, we ain't getting no fucking phone calls. That shit ain't happening. It just doesn't. You sit there all day twiddling your fucking thumbs.
Right, but again, what I'm pointing at is that there's always an opportunity, and that if you have something that you're passionate about, there's you find time.
Right.
To,
well, to give you an idea, and I'm going to back up what you say. Okay, let me back up what you say. Again. When I had downtime, or there was kind of like, kind of a lull in between calls and chats and all that crap, you could ask my best friend. He sat right next to me, my best friend AJ. You could ask that man what I was doing with my free time. And it used to blow everybody's minds. And they always wondered how I knew the things I knew. And my ass would be on fucking Wikipedia nonstop.
Damn right, dude.
Dude, like, straight up, just what do I want to know about Wikipedia? I want to know how Heinz got started. So I type in Heinz and just read the entire goddamn thing.
Right. But my point
educating myself.
That
your point is gone, Will.
That we all, like, most of the time you spend 8 hours at work. You have an hour, 30-minute lunch, whatever. Most average jobs.
2 15-minute breaks and 1 30-minute lunch.
Right.
That is the breakdown.
So I work in Ohio, where there is no federal law saying you get a lunch break whatsoever. So.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, no. Every state I've lived in, it's mandatory. You can actually sue them.
Yeah, not in Ohio.
In Michigan, if they actually try to make me work during my break, it's a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, they did that to me at Applebee's in Texas. So when I worked at Applebee's, they were like, "You can no longer take a smoke break," and I was like, "You realize I could call a lawyer right now and sue you for everything you're fucking worth, right?" They're like, "Okay, you can go have your cigarette break."
So my point is that there's 24 hours in a fucking day. You're spending 8 hours at work. You spend 6 to 8 hours of sleep. You still got ample of opportunity to do a lot of stuff that you want to do. I know 2 people that work 2 jobs. I know a bunch of people that work 2 jobs, and like they're just dying on the inside. I don't know how the fuck they do that shit.
I don't know how they do it.
No, I hate
Me
that.
neither.
I wouldn't do it.
Well, but I'm a fucking
time in between, yeah.
Well, again, I'm a fucking truck driver. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not working right now because of my fucking ailment. But You know, like, dude, I put in a good 12 to 14 hours every fucking day. But anyhow, I digress. Keep going.
But my point is that if there's something out there that you want, man, you got to work for it. I'm not saying like, you know, so for example, let's say like, you know, Senpai wants to, you know, release a metal album or whatever, like he wants to release an album. He could easily start doing that shit pretty easy by just uploading random videos to YouTube and, you know, sharing them around the stratosphere, bro. And he's got enough dead time. Every job has enough dead time while you're taking a shit or something. You could put that shit on Reddit, post that shit on Twitter. Like, and like, if it is talented, people will gravitate to it.
You know, you want to know what I find funny about that statement is like, I actually have a lot of songs on YouTube again because, you know, I like to doodle with like, you know, synthesizers and techno and all that kind of crap. And one of my videos, which I arguably think is one of my worst songs I've ever fucking written, has over 2,000 views and maybe 10, 15 likes. Nothing crazy, right? But yeah. I find it funny that my shittiest work is my most viewed work. Well, and I don't get that.
Look at that from the guys of like, so that's my YouTube right there. Like the videos that take me the longest to do get no views. The videos that I'm genuinely like, this one's fucking hilarious. I can't wait to upload this. They're usually the LGC roundups, the ones where we're all being us and it's fucking retarded and it's funny because like we're just stupid in the moment. Like, you know, nothing's planned, nothing's out of its way. There's no script. It's funny. It's legit. It's
raw,
real.
Unfiltered. Yeah.
And it's something rare that you happen to just catch on film. That's why sometimes something may not even be happening in the clip, but something funny is said. I go through all the footage. I find it. I love it, man. I'm cracking up making the fucking thing, and then I upload it, and it gets 10 views.
No views. Yeah.
And then I do a reaction to a video that takes me 10 minutes of time. And 1,000 views. I'm like,
well, okay, but here's the deal. Believe it or not, there's such a thing called trends, and right now it's literally like reaction videos are so fucking trendy. You might as well just become a reaction video watcher. Like, literally, it's so trendy. Like, dude, straight up, like, dude, you want views? Do a Tom McDonald reaction. That's all you got to do.
Literally, Tom McDonald reaction.
Yeah, we do.
Like, there's millions of them though. That's what I'm trying. But here's the deal. Like, dude, they get fucking views. Because I hate to say it, I'm one of those stupid motherfuckers. Instead of listening to the song, I'm going to listen to a motherfucker react to it because I want to know what the fuck they thinking.
I don't know who this
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, oh, hey, I wonder, because I always find myself, I don't know, maybe I'm the only fucking person, but sometimes I'll sit there and get that Freaky Friday moment where I'll be like driving my truck down the road and I'll see that homeless guy walking on the side of the road just kind of, you know, either strung out on something or, you know, just strung out on life, period. And I sit there and wonder to myself, man, I wonder what that guy's thinking. And the only thing I can think of is like where I'm going to get my next fix or where can I get a cheeseburger? You know, like that's the only thing I can think of. But sometimes I put myself in that Freaky Friday moment where I become that homeless guy. And then like the homeless guy is now driving that big rig and, you know, mayhem's going to ensue because I'm going to be looking for my next fix or a cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's why am I the only person that does that? Because I think that's why those reaction videos are so fucking popular is because it's like, dude, I want to know what that person thinks. And I think that's the ultimate secret to mankind is like, I want to know what that person thinks. And I think that's why I really enjoy Senpai so much is because even though we're completely on the opposite end of the spectrum on things, I want to know what this motherfucker is going to think. And not only that, you got a sexy, smooth voice.
Hey.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. You know?
See, I think it kind of falls in a different spectrum. I think that the reason why reaction channels are the way that they are is because, or as famous or as popular as they are, is I think that it stems from an entirely different premise. I think that they are as popular as they are because people want to be agreeable. They want to find someone that is thinking along the same linear lines.
Solace. Yeah. I feel it. Yeah.
Well, I think that they're ultimately looking for
reassurance.
Reassurance.
What they're thinking is like, I guess, correct think, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Or the verse is happening. They go there looking for that affirmation, and when they don't find it, they find a villain. That's why. reaction channels, like they're either incredibly positive, like with their retention rate, or they're the polar opposite. Like I did a Tom McDonald song where I said one of his songs was like whack, and I got so much animosity flung at me. Like I was like, yo, this track is kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Dude, you literally might as well started working in shit. Like literally, like like a Roto-Rooter guy.
And then so like here I'm sitting through like I actually got like emails of death threats and shit. People hit me up on Twitter like, you should fucking kill yourself, you fat faggot. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, that's the problem. Like again, I believe tribalism runs so fucking deep. There's not a lot of rational thinkers, like I would say us three, where we can understand each other's point of views and kind of try to take a little from each other. Unfortunately, that's kind of gone by the wayside these days, because like there's things I learn from Senpai all the time I talk to him, and that's why I enjoy it so much. Because it's like the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? Like unless I try to educate myself and take that perspective, I'm gonna learn from somebody, regardless of whatever the fuck they may say. It's like one of my favorite quotes from a fucking poem called Desiderata, which I highly recommend everybody fucking check out. But there's a quote in there that says, "Listen to everybody, even the dull and the ignorant, for they too have their story." There's a reason why those words were written. It's because, dude, that motherfucker may be the dumbest motherfucker in the world, but I guarantee you could fucking learn something from him. It may be the stupidest shit ever. Like, dude, that guy's put his fucking nutsack on a fucking can and set it on fire. Like, obviously, you're gonna learn not to fucking do that. I mean, I wouldn't do that anyways. What I'm just trying to say is, like, you can learn something from everybody, regardless of where they come from, what their religious upbringing is. You just learn something, and I think that's what's missing is people don't want to learn.
Well, yeah,
they don't want to educate themselves,
especially within the political discourse, is that people aren't willing to listen to people with an alternative view.
Exactly.
And see, this is what boggles my mind. Because
it's tribalism, but yeah, keep going.
Well, no, so this is what boggles my mind, right? So like, politics are not the source of who we are. They don't define us. They aren't the in all be all of like the complexity of our human condition, right? They don't do any of that. All politics is that me and you agree that there is an issue, but we just don't know how to agree on. We don't agree on how to fix that issue.
We don't agree on the approach.
Yeah, we don't.
Exactly.
We agree that there's an issue. We don't agree on how to fix it. That is all politics is. Like, and that's it. Like, I mean, anyone can like for example, I'll pick the most easy one because this should be just cut and dry. Like, this is a land, like this is America, obviously, the land of we're the melting pot of the world. Like, if you want to come here, you can easily. What's the word? Migrate? No, not migrate. That sounds like we're calling people animals. But
assimilate.
Yeah, we could bring people.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to assimilate to America, but immigrate. Yeah, to immigrate and come in, it's like, there's a process. And some people it takes 15 years. Some people it takes 10. Some it takes 5.
Right.
It just depends on it. It's a lot of jumping through hoops.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of dumb shit. There's a lot of red tape. Bureaucracy is evil, but we all agree about that. But obviously, we all agree that if people want to come to this country to have a better life, by all means, come to this country to be a better life. But I would argue that you should follow our laws in the process.
Well, I wholeheartedly, that's where I agree, and that's the thing though, because I consider myself a law-abiding citizen. I mean, to a degree. I mean, when I used to smoke a little weed here and there, it's obviously legal in my state, but I mean, that's about the hardest rule or law that I would break, but I don't feel like I was being detrimental to anybody. Right. But anyhow, keep going.
So I mean, I have no problems with immigration or immigrants coming to this country. I mean, we all hail from that. Some of us were probably forced into it.
Yep.
And the others of us were.
I was born here. I guess I got lucky that my feet touched the ground. But anyway.
Right. So, for example, but I get called, even though I'm a member of the left. I would love to go through an immigration reform to make it way simpler.
I agree, and here I agree.
But
I agree.
It's the same way I don't agree with a fucking border wall because I grew up on the fucking border. It doesn't fucking work.
But but I mean, I agree. I disagree. I want a border wall. I don't necessarily.
Well, dude, if that's the case, we need to fucking build one on Canada's border too.
I would agree with that too. You know,
I mean,
I don't need these white fuckers sneaking in here saying A and shit. No. But my point though is like, I get called racist and xenophobic or whatever the fuck it is when I'm like, oh man, well, illegal immigrants probably should be deported. They're like, what? And I'm like, well, they broke our laws. They broke our customs. Like there's already a trust value at the beginning of it, and they already started in the negative. I'm not saying that they can't, earn their way back into our country, but they've already.
Well, and I mean, here's the deal. I would say go the legal route. And my thing is like, look, we're a nation of immigrants. That's exactly the way you got to look at it. We're all look. My ancestors came here from fucking Ireland, probably because we ran out of fucking potatoes, but.
They did.
Yeah, exactly. So I can tell you where my fucking my ancestry, because my dad took that DNA test. He motherfucker 77 fucking % Irish. I know where my lineage comes from. And that's what I'm trying to say. But look, I can guarantee you, but back in the day, how easy was it? You fucking get on a boat, you end up here, and you just sign a fucking piece of paper. Here's the deal again. My ancestors had to fucking fight for it, because the minute they got on the fucking docks, they literally had to sign up for the fucking military. You had to do military service regardless of where you landed. If you landed in fucking Louisiana, well, you're now a Confederate soldier. If you landed in fucking Ellis Island, New York, well, congratulations. Now you're in the fucking Union Army. So I mean, that's the way it worked, I mean, and that's one of the many reasons why I try to tell people, it's like, dude, like, you have to understand that any immigrating group that's ever come to America has faced hardship, to a degree. I mean, I would even go as far as to say even the white people that first landed here, because they were like, wow, look at all this land. There's nobody here. Oh, wait a second. There's people with like weird headdresses over there. What the hell is going on? And then they're like, oh, well, fuck. Now we don't know how to fucking like grow food here because the fucking land is arid and shit. Because of where we landed, and then the Indians had to fucking teach them how to grow fucking corn and shit.
And then we gonna trade them motherfuckers and took it for ourselves, American.
Obviously
that's a bad mark.
It's kind of a bad representation, really.
What do you mean a bad representation? I believe that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, here to a degree, I mean, like you had a lot of tribes that were hostile to begin with, so it's like
as they should have been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, to a degree, but I mean, okay, if you could sit there and say, yeah, they need to be hostile, okay, like I'm gonna agree with you there. Okay, a motherfucker coming in your backyard, you don't know who they are, what they is, and you ain't never seen that skin color before. Yeah, I'd kind of be worried too, right? But at the same token, throughout the course of history, there's always been it's like my dad always told me, there's always been the defeated and there's always been the victorious. And that's literally how it works out. They brought bows and arrows to a gunfight. That's just ain't gonna work.
Well, see, and that's the problem. They stepped out. See, the problem is we didn't finish them off. So now we got to deal with all this bullshit.
Jesus Christ! Well, that's the most fucked up thing I've ever heard.
What are you talking about, though?
Senpai ended up. I think he disconnected on accident. You there, man? I said, hey, I said he was fucked up on that one. That's all
I haven't talked to y'all all day. How's it going?
Oh my god! Shut up! Saving this political future. No, I did not agree. I did not agree with that. But go ahead, Will.
I really don't know what you're talking about, honestly.
So my goodness! How are we going to conquer a people and then leave them on the wayside? Like, no matter what we do, they're gonna be victimized at that point.
Yeah, but no, I don't agree with that because, like,
well, no, obviously it's a joke. We shouldn't actually kill them all. But like, what do you do with the people you've conquered?
Well, I mean, that's not the thing. They assimilated,
Did they?
To a degree, yes, they did.
No, did they? Because we literally give them land that we're not allowed to even touch. Like, we can't even walk across that shit.
Look, I'm going to point out World War II. Okay. They assimilated. Did you know, had it not been for the fucking Windtalkers?
Oh my god, yeah, everyone knows about the Windtalkers. Nick Cage made a movie. We know.
Yes, dude, but that's a true story.
I know, okay? But my point is,
Had it not been for them, look, dude, they brought something to our country.
Obviously, I'm not.
It's our. Look. I say our country now because obviously the conquering has happened. But what I'm trying to say is, look, to a degree, they have assimilated. You know,
Right.
And that's the point. Yeah, you're right. They have landed.
If they've assimilated and they are people of our, like, the problem is they're going to have a victim narrative no matter what you do. Like, because we came over and we conquered their land. So like, we have to give them shit. But like,
again, I agree with Senpai, dude. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna agree here. Like, dude, we kind of fucked them over to a degree, dude. Like, look, it's like
we conquered them. They tried to kill us. We won.
Will's question is, what do you do with the conquered? Because it's a very interesting philosophical question.
Right. Well, part of the problem I think you take the Roman approach.
Look,
I honestly think the Romans did it the right way. They assimilated. Either you assimilate, you join our military, you do what you do to get by. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way it happens. That's history.
For example.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's say an alien civilization had came to Earth and we realized that their technology was way more complex than ours were, but we knew they could be killed. Would it be right for us to kill them in defense of ourselves?
Again, that's age-old question. You know,
if left unfettered, they'd probably conquer us and take our land.
This man literally just did the Sam Harris question in a different way, but doesn't realize it.
Sam Harris question, my nigga, that's oh boy.
That is
Stephen Hawking.
Bro, I know, bro, but I'm just saying it's the same premise that Sam Harris set up. False sender.
What did Sam Harris set up? Stephen Hawking set that question up.
I know, I'm saying.
And I guess he was running it from someone else, but goddamn.
I'm just saying that's the age-old question. Do you do the unthinkable?
Again, it comes down to your tribe.
Yeah, or again, let's take it to the most basic concept. Do you kill baby Hitler?
I don't think you kill baby Hitler.
No, well, I mean, here's the deal.
I think you get that motherfucker accepted to art school.
Yeah. Oh my God, Senpai, yes.
You just be like, your shit is beautiful.
Hold the phone. And you give a raise, Karl Marx.
Hey, maybe.
No, that's a true story. That happened. Dude, Karl Marx got denied a $5 a week raise, and he turned around and wrote the Communist Manifesto because of it. That is a true factual story that happened.
I mean,
it was the inherent evils of capitalism because he couldn't get a raise to like support his family.
If getting denied a $5 raise turns you into one of the most argued critics of capitalism in history, goddamn.
Yeah, well, that's literally what happened. But back in the day, obviously, $5 a week was more like $100. But yeah. I mean that literally happened. I learned that from JFK.
What a baller!
Fucking Karl Marx, bro.
Dude,
wait, $5 back then, he would have been a billionaire.
No, dude, $5 back then was probably about $100. Equated to modern times. Yeah, no, really it was. Like, dude, to give you an idea, shoe your horse. Shoe your horse in the Wild West was $5.
Okay, but like, dude,
give you an idea.
That was a $5 raise. What the fuck was he making before that?
Probably about 10, maybe.
So he was already rich as shit.
Well, no, not necessarily. Karl Marx died a penniless man. I'd say arguably.
You're thinking of it through the guise of like how we pay people now. I don't think it was based on hourly wages. I think it was
it wasn't.
Week you made X amount of money, or at the end of whatever pay period.
It was more like it was more like a stipend. It'd be more like a stipend.
Still.
But yeah, no, and I mean, I don't even think it was a matter of what you contributed, because obviously he was an editor. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did work for a newspaper, and that's literally like that could be pretty strenuous hours. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of.
Why do we even pay people that work in the news department? Shouldn't that just be a social service or a service provided by?
They should be paid for their work, Will.
I'm just saying, but they're like when they get paid, then they have an object reason to like magnify the the craziness of the story, so they get paid more, don't they not?
No, I feel like the people. Well, that's kind of weird. It depends on like if you're talking about modern media or like old time media. But I mean, given today's standards of media, of course, anyone can put money into the pockets of whoever, and they can push whatever narrative they want. But I feel like we should just deprivatize media.
Right? Yeah, we should make it. Well, see, the problem is if you make, because see, the media's got to be able to challenge the government.
Well, but that's the problem. The media isn't challenging the government. In fact, I can only think of one media outlet that kind of
we're not even. No, my point is,
sorry,
because the media did challenge the government a shit ton 4 years ago.
But hey, under a socialist economic system, if you have a government institution that is the media, and those people have a democratic say over what they do within their jobs, within the media, I do believe they would be able to openly challenge the government, would they not?
No, because they're being funded by the government. You cannot challenge that pays you, or else how critical can you be?
Yeah.
What happens if they fire the editors for challenging the government and it's democratically run? They no longer get editors.
Yeah, but then they just find another way about it. There's multiple reasons why you can get rid of someone without underpinning the actual reason. Like it's a messy. That's why the government, like, there should be a form of media outside of government, but the government should actually be the primary on news. This way, it's one source. But then
it's about the power the workers hold, because the position in which you're thinking of this in is that these people are expendable, and as long as they're expendable, the government can do whatever it wants with these workers. But if these workers have democratic power over said government, then they no longer have the power to just simply do whatever they want whenever they work there.
But we already have democratic power over the people in our government. We vote people
But we
in.
don't have democratic power over the media.
Right,
so they get to say and do whatever the fuck they want.
That would leave
and
the
person
media
with the most money runs the media and tells you exactly what's going on, or exactly in quotation.
Right, but again, this also starts to fall under the same premise of the original argument that we had over the sanctity of the individual outweighs everyone else, because when you start having the masses, because we've all seen the Twitter masses, the fucking the crazy mob that comes after actors who are using the wrong terminology or crazy word, trying to be fired or let go, when those people have direct control over the media that then reports on the news based on what's going on in our country, we're fucked. Because then it's media, it's mob control.
Mob rule.
Yeah, it's there's no in between.
I mean, it's either mob rule or one person runs the media.
And but see, mob rule or the other, I would trust an individual over a mob. Because like an individual,
I would not.
I can't. Mob rule.
Because the problem, Will, is that individuals are corruptible. Like Rupert Murdoch, who runs all of Fox News. You think he does that shit because he thinks it's like, because he believes in the shit that gets said on Fox News? There are literally mask mandates within the Fox workroom, but yet they push against mask mandates in the media because people will donate money and because lobbyists will pay them to keep pushing that shit for legitimately no reason. It gets people elected. It's corrupted.
Again, but it's also prevalent on the left as well. You can't just sit there and say it's not one way or the other.
No, I was saying Fox News because it's easy to poke fun at.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but again,
I mean,
though,
the only thing I like on Fox News is fucking Greg Gutfeld, bro.
Tucker Carlson or bust.
Dude, Tucker, I do like Tucker though. I honestly think in this day of age, he's the only real fucking reporter out there. Dude.
Well, the fact that he's willing to oust even Republicans that do very.
That's the man goes after whoever is corrupted, and see that's one thing why I never understood how people on the left didn't like him either, because he will literally dig up dirt on Republicans too.
Yeah,
he does not care.
Well, I remember he was doing a story on the guy who bought the outdoor city or something. They got bought out by some big multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. They absorbed all of the resources of the company and then pretty much fired all the staff and shit and drained it. And it was some Republican He's done like this is how he makes his wealth. He makes billions of dollars a year.
Yeah, and he went and like dug all the shit up on him.
Yeah,
And see, that's again that's why I do like Tucker, but I like Greg Gutfeld because of the comedic aspect, you know.
Right. Well, just the fact that he's willing to and then like again, his stance on capitalism is not supposed to be a capitalism is a means to an end. It is not the be all end all of our life. We should not forego the basic necessities en route of capitalism. Capitalism is just used as an enrichment to our lives. Like for example, like he's willing to he wants the government to step in and put some kind of restraints on the automation, because just the sheer amount of people that would be losing their jobs when things go automated is going to be astronomical. It's going to put.
That's like it's probably still another 20 years down the road, I would say. But trucking. Yeah, trucking's about to go the way of the like what's going to happen to me? How am I going to be able to provide for my family? Because obviously, I learned a trade. That's a trade, right? I didn't go to college. I tried to go to college. Just didn't work out for me. Too socialist. I'm joking. But it was pretty socialist. But anyhow, no, college wasn't for me. I'm not one of those people that could sit there and I already know what the teacher is going to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Half the time, unless it's mathematics, which again, I don't feel I have to pay $40,000 for mathematics if I'm not going to use it.
Right.
But and again, I think that's why these colleges need a lot of fucking reform. But my issue again, bureaucracy, in schools, but. I honestly feel like it's dude, what's going to happen to me and my family? That's what I'm worried about, because I know I'm going to have my job for another 20 years, but the problem is another 20 years, I'm barely going to be 50. I ain't even be of age to fucking retire yet.
Right. And you're going to lose it.
Exactly.
You're going to be thrust
What am I going to do? I'm going to be thrust into what? Flipping burgers or go to a 7-Eleven? I mean, dude, That's not going to cut the cheese, bro.
Right. And on top of that, trucking is the biggest pathway to the middle class, besides marriage,
besides military,
besides marriage or military, for those average Americans.
I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb, uneducated, quote unquote, but yeah.
Right, yeah. So I'm gonna say average Americans, but uneducated Americans, yeah. It's the biggest pathway to the middle class. It's the backbone that's been keeping America and moving. The average Americans afloat for the last
40, 50 years,
yeah. So with
yeah, exactly. Because think about it. The Tesla truck comes out and it actually fucking does what it's supposed to do. Self-driving Tesla truck. Look, here's the deal. What they're planning on doing, the Tesla truck only needs one driver, but it can caravan 3 fucking trucks. Could you imagine that? That's literally okay, you have one driver that can now drive 3 trucks. What's that going to do to the industry? What's that going to do to the industry?
Well, think of it this way.
Overnight, 1/3 of the truckers lose their fucking jobs.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say it'd be that much.
Or 2/3, sorry.
I probably wouldn't even say that, because you have so many truckers that are required now that you probably would only lose 30% of people. Because how many vacant spots that we have currently?
Right. And I again, maybe by that point, I'll be obviously tech savvy enough to know how to do that. And plus, with all my years of experience, maybe I might be able to get a job doing that conductor job, if you will, But it's not like I can go into the railway business because, dude, that's kind of gone tits up,
The answer cannot be capitalism, because under a free market and capitalism, just the way it goes, you're shit out of luck. There has to be a socialism network,
right?
In play for those 22 million people.
Again, and see, that's where I'm going to agree with Senpai. You see,
but
again,
the thing is,
there needs to be
Tucker Carlson also agrees with Senpai.
Yeah, see, exactly. Well,
rub that oil right on me, dude.
Well, here's the deal, Senpai. Again, I've agreed with you with a lot of what you said.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Have I not said since day one there needs to be a comfortable marriage?
I'm for certain you said that. I remember you saying that.
I said the same shit forever ago, but he doesn't remember that shit.
Yeah, but you also say a
No,
lot of fucked
it's
up
because
shit
of-
like
yeah,
you
you
also
really
say a lot
do.
of fucked up shit like Alex Jones, bro. You're literally the Alex Jones of our group. You're like, the frogs are turning gay, you know? Like,
I've never said a single thing that's fucked up that was serious. What do you mean?
He said now the frogs have 42 genders. Like, all right, well, we get it.
Well, because they can't even figure out what gender they are. There's a problem here. See, like, here's the
the
problem,
ribbit.
dude.
Wait, so does the gay frog go rabbit? You
So,
know,
no,
like,
hear
you're
me
funny.
out, dude. As a guy that is into transgender people or feminine men, I want to know what I'm fucking. All right, that's it. Just want to know, so I can get it out of the way. I don't want to have to sit there and ask, "What gender are you today?" I just want to know. All right, I want to know if I'm gay or I'm straight. Stop fucking confusing the fuck out of me. All right.
Hey, Will, if they don't know what they want to refer to themselves as, then that means that they are gender fluid.
I know, bro, and that pisses me off. Pisses me like today I'm a guy. Tomorrow I'm like, bro, I only want to date the female version of you.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. All the traps I've ever known have always referred to themselves as women, so that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be right there, but of course there are gonna be people that wish to be identified as something else. I mean, ultimately, does it really matter like what they refer to themselves as? Could it not just be that person is cool
no.
and you want to be with them?
I don't care. I don't care what they want to refer to themselves as because again, I believe it comes down to individual liberty.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah, it's individual liberty, but I don't want to be taught. I don't want to be taught to my kids in school. Like that should not be a fucking thing. I think like you as an adult when you're out of college, when you're going to college, when you're trying to find yourself, by all means, find yourself, baby doll. But please don't teach that to my fucking kids. My kids need to know how to do math. My kids need to know what science is. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that they can teach basic biology. Like, if you're like, okay, well, the sexual characteristics of beings within nature is that there are male and female, how would I say, assignments, or that's how we colloquially refer to them as, because generally in the means of reproduction, you have...
That's how it is, yeah.
Like, yeah, that's just simply how it is. Within mammals, you have a penis and you have a vagina. Within, some amphibious creatures, you have, like, hermaphrodites that can appear like snails. And then you also have things such as, like, flowers,
Well, it also happens in human science, too. And again, I don't have an issue with them teaching that. Like, it's like, I just don't want you teaching, kink or gender fluidity or any of that crap to my kids. It's like, dude, like once they're out on their own, I don't give a shit, dude. I literally advocated I hope one of my daughters become a dyke.
Well,
like literally.
Well, let's say this.
I want a tomboy, one of them at least.
Well, let's say that this becomes a study, right? Because this is a really big movement and it ends up in social studies. I believe that they should probably go over it because it's things that they're going to interact with on a daily basis, and it should at least be covered very quickly because there are a lot of movements that get completely overlooked. Like, for example, I didn't know for the longest time that Christopher Columbus first landed in the West Indies, never set foot on what we call continental America.
No, he never did.
People. We never knew that. But we were taught that he was a good guy.
Literally, like, okay, I was like, now is this going to blow your mind? This is going to blow your mind. I went to a Christian school when I was a kid, and I was taught Christopher Columbus landed in the West Indies in the first grade. And I was also taught that the reason America is named America is because it's actually Amerigo Vespucci who actually landed on America. Exactly. That's the reason I knew of America. And I learned that in a Christian school.
I learned that shit. I learned that shit in a fucking juvie school. Where their primary focus was just don't kill the teacher.
yeah. Okay, I will say this: when I went to that JJAP school, because I went to a juvie school, when I got kicked out of school, and like the cool thing about that program was like all the assignments were done on computer, and it was work at your own pace. So literally, because I love history so much, like literally, if I see a history book, I start humping air. Okay, I do. That's just it's my passion. I love history, bro. So like, dude, I remember going to this thing, and all the programs are done on the computer, and it's work at your own pace. I literally This is a no shitter. I was the only junior. By the time I got out of that juvie school and went back to normal school, I was the only junior taking advanced placement government and economics. The only junior in history. And hold the phone, I had the highest score.
Nerd. That's all I
Oh,
heard.
dude.
Look.
Dude, I'm total nerd. I was. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I was that kid that, like, I got in trouble. I owned up to it. I went to the fucking juvie school, and all the other kids liked me because I would help them out with their fucking work.
Nerd. What the fuck?
I was able to skate by as a fucking nerd that broke the law.
You ruined me. My people do not like this.
Dude, I went to a bad school. I'm talking like, dude, like,
Yeah,
it was
I know.
the worst of the worst.
I know.
Worst of the worst.
Barbed wire fence. They strap you.
Yep.
They fucking they check your shit for you. Like they're like, got anything under your balls
Morning-
today? What kind of drugs you got in your asshole? Like, bro.
Morning pat downs.
Yeah.
And it's all done by cops. Oh,
yeah, dude. I'm saying, bro.
Actually, it was in charge of the sheriff's department. Was in charge of it. Because see, in Texas, the local cops and sheriff's department, it's probably like that most places, but in Texas, it's like the sheriff's department deals with specifically prison related. They're kind of also in charge of going after like people who've broken the law. Like they hand out warrants and they deal with prison and or jail. So it was always the sheriff. I still remember his name was Mr. Ringo, and he would always every morning he would look at me and be like, "Sup, white boy? You got anything on you?" Because I was the only white kid there. And he'd be like, "All right, it's time for your pat down." Now remember, you have to put your hands behind your back, put your chest up against the wall, and they'd pat you down every morning, without fail.
They get you in your gooch every once in a while. What's up here?
No, they would always do that, dude. They did not care. There was no such thing as being fucking like, like some of them you'd wonder if they were ex-priests,
They're digging in there. I'm gonna find that candy, baby.
Yeah. My God.
Fucking Catholics.
You want to earn that fucking Eucharist, don't you? Oh,
Bro.
God, I'm going to hell.
You are going to hell. We're all going to hell, bro.
It's okay. You laughed at it. So you're going with me.
No, you're going to hell too, dog.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's automatically go to hell.
You can be
TBH,
as
that's where the cool people are. Fuck it.
like,
Hey, man.
you're
Hey,
a virtuous man.
Hold up. You just said all the cool people there. You realize Hitler's probably in hell, right?
And
Well,
probably smoking a blunt with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, there's
Let's go.
Oh my God! Be like Jimmy. Be like, man, baby, I didn't think you killed all them Jews. Like,
Nah, bro, I'm gonna sit down right next to him. I'm gonna take a big boof and I'm gonna go, "Why'd you do it?" And I bet you $10 that nigga's gonna lean in and say, "Money."
oh my God! No, you're gonna be like, they had all the gold, and we wanted all the gold.
Yeah. Oh shit, man.
Oh, dude, God damn it! Go ahead.
No, say what you gonna say, baby.
I was like, you think we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up? What do you think? We've been at it a hot minute.
Yeah. I think it's definitely time to end it here because, like, last time we had 3 hours and that was a struggle to get through. So I feel like I was just trying to go for 30 minutes, but this kind of blew up into a thing.
Hey, man, you know what, dude? I honestly feel like if it was always the three of us and we add a fourth person in, that'd be great. I don't know what Senpai's schedule would be like, but, dude, I love talking to this motherfucker.
Hey, I'll take it.
Hey, but so another thing though, someone's got to be Alex Jones. I'll step up to the plate because I don't know if you guys
You're
know.
already there, Bill. Don't
Maybe
even
you
act
already
like-
there.
I'm kind of retarded. Like,
My man tried to act
Yeah,
like
dude, I
this was
remember.
like gonna be a struggle.
He said that on Tim Pool. I remember watching the Tim Pool episode. Like, look, let's just face reality. Like, kind of retarded. Oh wait, no, he said on Joe Rogan
yeah,
also.
Joe Rogan. He's like, look, all right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
But the man owns it. At least he owns it. You gotta give him that credit.
Oh, I never thought I'd be considered the Alex Jones of a group. I thought I was a rational individual, but apparently,
No, we're not saying that you're irrational, Will. It's just sometimes
you just say some
things-
shit.
Yeah, like so. My problem that I run into with you is that you say reasonable things, so it makes me think, oh, okay, so you're willing to work through it. But then you're so stuck in this like weird kind of anti-left, anti-right, but identifies as left kind of guy, and I don't get it because, or at least, you know what? I get it. You don't like the extremes on any side, and I can understand that. I don't.
And that's
either.
where I sit.
But
also.
then the
That's where I
people
sit.
that you agree with kind of have like really bad politics, and yet you prescribe to like a hint of the idea. And as much as I can get behind that, I can't follow through with the whole thing, man. Like for the most part,
what's a single
I would
person that I identify
Ben
with?
Shabibo, brother.
I don't really like Ben Shapiro, bro.
Look, you say you don't like Ben Shapiro, but you will quote the fuck out of him if you really need to, because for some reason you find some of his arguments really compelling. And on their face, don't get me wrong, they're very red pilly. They can get you through the door very quickly. Because I used to be that guy where I was watching Ben Shapiro, I was watching Jordan Peterson every day.
Whoa,
I was like,
hold
on.
Do not bring Jordan
on.
Peterson. No. Jordan Peterson is
Fuck.
not on the right. Continue.
Let me finish. Anyways, Ben Shapiro's arguments can seem pretty cool on the surface, but whenever you look at the entirety of his argument, you can tell that he most likely doesn't really believe in that shit, right? Like even whenever he goes to write books, he ends up going through and like amending some of his statements because he's like, "Oh no, that probably wasn't right?" Or whenever Joe Rogan, I love Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, the king of apes, dude, whenever that man is like talking down to you about social injustice within black communities and he fucking beats your ass, literally has sex with your dad in that argument, and you can't say shit, you've lost.
What are you talking about, dude? What?
You don't remember the Ben Shapiro Joe Rogan talk whenever like he was talking about like fatherless homes or something, and then so like Joe Rogan asks him, "Oh, well, what was the cause of that, you think?" And then he just says something about like black culture, and then Joe Rogan was like, "Well, see, the problem with insinuating that is that you're insinuating, or at least it's why people can think that's a little bit racist, is because you're attributing a societal issue to a specific group of people in saying that it's their fault. But from what we can tell, the main cause of fatherless homes is, being in a fatherless home, and some of the things that can cause being in a fatherless home is economic disparity. That economic disparity can come from being imprisoned because you were committing crimes, right? And you commit crimes because you can't go through the regular ways of getting employed because someone won't employ you or something is happening. It's fucky wucky.
No.
Well, and that's where I'm going to agree with you on some aspect, but I'm also going to say there's a lot of government overreach in that.
Exactly.
I think the government plays a huge role in why there's a lot of that in black society.
Okay,
and
well,
I honestly,
government overreach does not cause fatherless homes.
No.
No. Social programs, a lot of social programs.
Social programs would pay you more if there was not a father in the house. So why would a woman keep a man around if she could make more money from the government? And Ben Shapiro talks about this a great deal numerous times.
But what if said man, right, was able to actually like get a job within society that, worked out for him? But instead, because schools are paid for by property taxes, then if you are raised in a poor neighborhood, you don't go to a good school,
This is something that
again, I think that's government issue. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that's literally bureaucracy at its fucking finest. Like,
right, but that's not Washington causing that. That's the
no. That's state level.
The state level that is being run typically by Democrats.
No, sir. It's in
mean?
the Republican states. Like,
what are you talking about? It happens. Where do black people typically live?
Two of the largest African American cities are based in Michigan, which is a Democratic state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Detroit and Flint.
Almost every major city that has a large ethnic group of people living there, the biggest melting pots are democratically ran. They have Democratic cops. They have Democratic fucking governors. They have Democratic senators. Like, they are Democrats through and through, and they run their shit into the ground.
Hold on. Can I add to this though? Look, also as an Irish American ethnicity, they also it didn't start with just black people. They did it with Irish people too, and that actually goes back. You watch the movie Gangs of New York. That's like one of the best adaptations of like how politics were ran back in the day. And it's literally like those people like from Tammany Hall in New York, they're all Democrats. There's a reason why my people, Irish people, I could say this, typically vote Democrat. This is true. Boston, Democrat ran city. All your major cities are typically democratically ran, and a lot of them are also have huge ghettos. And it's not just black people; it's Irish people. It's it's Italians. Like the majority of these people typically go for the Democrat way because obviously they think that the Democrats are going to help them because they're like, oh, we're for the small man. Here, we need your vote. And like the thing is typically you're going to hear that and you're just going to be a guy who were like my ancestors obviously working like coal mines and shit. Like they're going to be like, yeah, that sounds like good. I'm going to vote for you because you're probably going to give me more than that motherfucker over there. And typically back in the day, Republicans were all about big business. But the unfortunate thing is
wait, what do you mean by like back in the day? Because Democrats used to be really bad about black people back in the day.
Right, yeah. And that's what I'm going to get at. It flipped in the 60s, right? But here's the deal. Even though it flipped in the 60s, the Republicans were for the black man. Obviously, all the way up until, arguably, they don't look like it to this day. Look, in the 60s to the 80s, I would say Republicans had a bad smear on them because they were all corporate. They wanted corporate things. But something happened in between the 90s and now, where now it's flipped again. And now the Democrats are all corporate. They want everything corporations, big business, big government. Now it's more like the Republicans are like, we're not about that anymore because for some weird reason, all the blue collar people started voting Republican for some fucking crazy reason. Now, I don't know what caused that flip. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that go into it. I'm not that politically savvy to sit here and say one thing or another. But what I'm trying to say is, what William is saying is correct. Every fucking major city is ran by Democrats, and it's almost like living in a fucking nightmare. Like, look at Chicago. It's got the highest fucking murder rate per capita in the fucking whole country, and you can't own a gun. You can't own a gun.
What caused the white flight of the Democratic Party back in the day was the acceptance of, or at least the integration of black people into their society.
No, not at all.
Yes, sir. Whenever Jim Crow laws were banned, it caused a massive but whenever Jim Crow laws were banned, it caused a massive wave of white people to leave the Democratic Party.
Right, but
because they saw them as a group of people that couldn't get anything done.
Well, okay, but hold on, but at the same time, and I can agree with you on some aspect to that, but what I want you to try to imagine a party that knew, okay, once segregation was ended, everything like that. I want you to think in terms of a white man for a second, and I'm talking like a rich, snobby fucking white man, okay? I'm not talking like your common fucking bluegrass hick motherfucker. I'm talking about your fucking well-to-do, I own money, I have things, my ancestors were ex-plantation owners. I want you to think on that aspect, okay? What if, by some stretch of the imagination, they were like, you know what? We can use these black people for votes. Like, could you imagine that? I mean, I'm just saying, could you imagine a white guy that was smart enough to sit there and say, you know what? Let's turn this around and let's make it to where we can use their vote. Because, I mean, traditionally, let's face reality. Again, after the 1960s, Jim Crow, everything like that. I mean, who do black people typically vote for? You see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, could you imagine, like, the plantation never went away. What happened was the plantation owner got smart enough to say, you know what? I'm still going to get their vote because I'm going to appeal to them, and I'm never going to give them anything that I ever promised them because they never have.
Well, and another way,
like that. I'm just saying. I mean, theoretically, it could be true. I'm not saying that's how it happened. I'm saying I'm trying to think like a rich fucking snobby white fucking plantation owner, ex fucking Klan guy. I don't want to put myself in that position, but I'm just trying to say, could you imagine that's how they could think?
ultimately the problem that this country has with black people is that from the jump, it was handled in a very horrific manner. And it
Obviously.
hasn't been handled at all. And both political parties within the United States have found some way to manipulate black people into voting for them in one way or another.
And
right?
I
It's
agree.
true. Is
agree.
it possible that the reason why, or at least is it possible that their most democratic run cities tend to be the most racially diverse? Yeah, that's true. Is it whenever racial diversity increases within a city, they typically tend to vote left-leaning policies? Yeah, absolutely. Are we saying that all of these cities are great? No, they're not, because as someone suggested, Chicago is the murder capital of the United States. That shit is ridiculous, and it has one of the largest black populations in the country.
It does.
One of the
Well,
few.
yeah. I mean,
One of the
the
few. And
the
so
only
given
one
that,
the only one that's bigger is Atlanta. But
yeah, given that, right? If you look at it all, I don't think it matters what city you look at. They're getting fucked either way.
Yeah, but it's
Right. But and again,
And the
It's
only
like,
reason
what-
that we
what's-
talk
what's
shit
the
about
old-
Democrats is because Democrats are the ones that say that they'll help them specifically. That's
Yeah,
why
but
we
they
talk
don't.
shit about them.
and
Exactly.
again, that's why
They
I
do the same
That's
shit.
why.
all right,
Like,
but see,
dude,
here-
I like. Here's the deal. My grandparents were Democrats. My grandparents were fucking Democrats, die hard.
Here-
And
I
it
can
used to
tell they
piss
were
my-
Democrats.
Well, it pissed my dad off to no end because my dad was a Republican, diehard
well,
Republican.
here's the thing that is super important, right? Like, this is what happens to a man when you tell him that your life is of no fault to your own and that you are a victim constantly. What happens?
That's a good question.
So right, so like,
You're
I'm not-
experiencing it now.
I'm not saying that the black people did this shit to themselves, because that'd be ridiculous. I'm gonna drop, because like, one, they was out with their titties out and like enjoying Africa, and then bam, they're over here in America building
Cool.
cotton farms and shit, fucked up
Ben
shit.
Shapiro believes that they did this to themselves.
Right. Well,
Well, and I could disagree with
I
him
would,
on that.
but no, hold on. But let me say, I would agree to some extent.
Yeah. Like,
Because
I mean,
they're-
they keep teaching this over and over and over again.
If you teach for fucking 3 generations that the white man is bad, that they did this to you, they're your oppressor, they will hurt you, that they will never hire you, they will never even try to compete. Like, the problem
Hold
is,
on, hold on.
Wait, but Will, if for an entire generation a black man would walk into a restaurant, sit at the wrong seat, and get shit thrown at him, what do you
Yeah,
think? Right? If
yeah,
every
I'll-
time a black man applied to a restaurant and then they
Hold
wouldn't
on.
even look at his application and then spit in his face and the government would laugh,
so then
what
we
do you
Yes.
think?
so we had,
Hold on. I'm going to add to Senpai here because the same thing happened to the Irish people when they came over here. You can literally see signs to this day where it said no,
No.
Irish needed.
Yeah, yeah,
flag.
Yeah, like no Irish, no Chinese.
I
but-
know,
Exactly.
but again, we had a renaissance. We had Martin Luther King. We had a giant movement, and then since then, we've taken away those systems that hold people back.
Martin Luther King, the avid socialist that it pushed for UBI.
Look,
dude.
I'm gonna say this. One of my favorite quotes of all time is literally, "You need not judge I envision a world where you don't judge my children based on what the color of their skin is, but the content of their character."
Okay, but like,
Greatest thing.
for
That's the greatest
example,
thing ever fucking
like,
said.
so,
because I
so
agree with it wholeheartedly.
here's the perfect example. The perfect example. I can't think of anything else in this world that is more damning than this. When George Floyd died, the entire fucking world, not even America, the entire fucking world stood together.
That's not true.
What are you talking about?
That's not
No,
true.
I mean, that's not true because a lot of far right wingers.
Oh, no. Okay, fuck. But every country, every business, every news outlet, every state had a march. China had a march. Fucking everything had a march in the contest of ending slavery, or not slavery, racism. So,
Well,
like,
not every news outlet though. Will
dude, even what are you talking about? When George Floyd first, before any of the facts were in, because like now there's stuff you can look at and be like, well, before any of the facts were in, Fox News would come out and be like, what happened was horrible.
No, there were some people that were saying that in passing, right? It was someone going, now I'm not saying that if this is proven that, this is really fucked up, but I'm saying we should question if how much fentanyl did he have in his system that would kill a horse, Like, oh man, I feel like that the cop may have been justified. Like, we need to really look at this. Like, my nigga,
Well, no.
They
But-
did not start doing that until months later.
No, sir.
Dude, yeah.
No.
I watched it. I watched Fox News. What do you mean?
I mean, look, all I'm going to say is I didn't watch a lot of it, but the way I stand on it is like the cop needs to go to prison. Like the guy
As
literally he literally applied excessive force, and that's another reason why I don't agree with a lot of what cops do. Because I've been on the long dick of the law, the wrong side of it.
But
but again, okay, to give you an idea, this happened in the 70s and probably about the 80s. My cousin, I never got to meet him, unfortunately. Wichita, Kansas, white kid, I might add. Witnessed something some off-duty officers were doing, and they beat him to death with golf clubs. They got away scot-free. They beat my cousin to death. I never got to meet him.
I know, but like we don't understand. We don't know the understanding, like the information surrounding that. Well, all we know is hearsay.
Again. Well, but again, like you gotta understand, my cousin was a minor. He was a well-to-do kid. Never fucked around, never got in trouble. Right, because he witnessed something.
But we there's no way we can't.
No. My uncle made out rich out of it because they fucked up. Those cops lost their jobs, rightfully so.
Oh, okay. Well, then, so the justice was served. Yeah.
Justice was served, and what I'm trying to get at is, I feel that what. I don't agree with all the riots that happened around the whole George Floyd thing at all. Like, I don't agree with it.
Well, see, that's where they eventually fucked up. Yeah.
Right, but what I'm getting at is I agree justice was served, and dutifully so, because I saw the video, and I feel that cop needs to fucking do his entire goddamn life and some.
Oh, because I'm not gonna talk about my opinion.
It's like it was just excessive force, dude. No matter how you break it down, no matter how you look at it, look, it has nothing to do. At the end of the day, I don't care what the color of either skin color was. I don't feel that is detrimental or any. I don't feel that has anything to do with any of it. But what I'm getting at is hold on.
My point that I'm making, though, is the world stood against racism. Like, you had corporations doing their little stupid, like, you remember that stupid shit on Twitter where they were posting like a black screen? I don't know if you're an avid Twitter user, but
I think I remember that.
I'm not.
It spread to Facebook.
User, but yeah.
Sorry, my kids walked in, so I muted. But to finish off my point is, look, I feel that, again, I'm not going to say that, I don't agree with the defund the police movement or any of that, because obviously we're a nation of laws. We need law enforcement officers. But what I'm getting at is, look, I don't feel that, it had anything to do with the color of the skin. I think that was just overplayed by media. Yes, it happened from a white guy to a black guy. I understand that. But I don't think that there was a racist bone in that cop's body. I think he just didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he excessively used force. And I think that he should do his entire fucking life because he was a fucking moron in the way he handled himself. Well, that's how I feel. But anyhow, go ahead.
So my point, though, is that, like, if we have a whole society that is telling, like, hey, white people are the enemy. You're here again, like when you're being told you're a victim, you're gonna start taking on that mindset. Like, you're gonna start looking for, well, I want reparations, I want handouts because I'm a victim. You know what I mean? You start victimizing people.
Well, I mean, dude, like okay, this is gonna go back to.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, the issue is, when you bring people to this country, let's say you bring two separate people, and one you teach them to be a victim, and the other one you let them, give them the idea, the original purpose of the American dream, which is to strive hard, build a family, do all that. You put those two next to each other and you put them in a contest. Which one of those guys is going to go further? Hands down, the guy that wasn't told that he can't achieve things. When you this is the craziest thing about the left, is that like the left will be like, you can accomplish anything. You too, blacks. It's like, you could just like, you don't belittle them, bro. Just stop telling them they're victims. Start telling them like, you are born in a country that has done some fucked up shit. And yeah, and you know what? They've done some fucked up shit to your families in the past. But you're born in a country where you are given more rights, more opportunity than any other country in the world. And you have to go out there and make your ends. And maybe it's not going to be the same playing field every time. Maybe you're going to start in a deficit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. It's going to suck dick. But eventually, if you put in that work, you put in that time, you can accomplish what the fuck you set out to do. Like if we gave that message to them instead of the opposite.
Well, I've never been told that I couldn't do whatever the hell I wanted to do.
You've never been told that you've never had one of them white liberals that come up to you and like
No.
not yet. Give us some time.
I can't.
I mean, maybe not yet. It feels like here's my problem, and it's killing me. It feels like this weird straw man that just because somebody is trying to point out the flaws within the system, that somebody goes, yeah, that's your whole argument, huh? Like just because we're pointing out that black people have had a short leg in this country, like that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not also telling them do everything that you can, and we feel like that the government should be helping you along the way, right? You came from a household that is a literal statistic, right? Your parents are divorced, you're black, and you live in the ghetto. Then we feel like that the government should step in and at least alleviate some of those wrongs that have happened to you. And maybe even, you know, or most likely even for some of the white people that are poor in divorced households and, you know, like shit like that. That shit's real bad, you know, and they need help.
And
those
then,
people need help, and
them.
the black people need help. But the fact is that the way in which we've been delivering help has been either subpar, substandard, or absolute garbage.
Well,
right?
No. How? We give you free money.
Whenever we have a hard-leaning, like, capitalist in the White House, like Reagan, we put crack in the black neighborhoods and then tell them to figure it out, and then arrest those same people for selling crack. Like, that shit is nuts, man.
Okay, but, like, now, let's not, like, everyone brings up, like, shit that happened 50 years ago. Now...
Because it still affects people today, Will. You act like the past has no bearing on the future.
What happened?
Like, you act...
What happened to your... What happened? What do you mean?
You're problematic. You are problematic to the core. Here's the problem, is that you act like the past does not exist because the future is different. When in all reality, the past always has bearing on the future.
Yeah,
you
it's got
to look
ripple
at the events that
effects.
have occurred in order to figure out where you are now.
It's got
if
ripple
you don't right those wrongs that occurred in the past, you can never move forward, my guy.
How are you supposed to right wrongs when we're out of that time? We've already righted them.
No, just because we move forward and they rename the racism doesn't mean we fixed it.
What are you talking about? We've already been redoing the war on drugs. We're trying to legalize drugs. That's fixing the problem.
The war on drugs can be renamed to imprisoning black people. That shit literally didn't do anything.
Hold on. Written by Joe Biden.
The point is,
the war on drugs was what? That's a George Bush era.
No. Biden actually wrote a law as a senator. He actually wrote a law that literally him and Clinton, dude. It's on their hands, literally to imprison black people for drug crimes.
Oh,
that
wow,
actually
really
is
cool. I mean, it
I'm
really
just saying
doesn't change anything if that's the one that did it. I'm just saying we need to move forward in
right. I
fixing
agree.
it.
So then how do we move forward?
That's a good question. But we need to understand it, number one. And number two, we need to agree what the problem is. Then we can move forward. But I can't handle whenever people just stand here and go, nah, dude, that's not an issue. That's not an issue. That didn't happen. Or at least it happened, but we're past it now. It's fixed. No, it's not.
What do you mean?
He's explained it. Like
I know, but no, I'm literally starstruck because like we aren't putting drugs into the black communities anymore. Like, we did that shit in the beginning and it got fucked up.
And then what happens? What happens, bro?
People got addicted to drugs.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Addicted, right?
Right,
What's
and it
another
broke up
effect it's
households.
producing? It breaks up households. What else happens?
Yep. Yeah.
People get in prison. What else happens?
Okay,
The
so
kids that grew up in those households, they don't know any fucking thing, so they sell drugs.
what are you talking about? Those same kids go to school.
Oh, the school that's paid for property taxes?
Yes, there can be good
In
teachers.
the ghettos, bro?
Yeah, dude, I lived in Los Angeles. What do you mean? I went to those same schools.
Oh my.
I'm from the ghetto. What are you talking about? I went to those same schools.
So you know the problem. So you saw the problem
and I saw good teachers teaching people between right and wrong, and then people
because
choosing.
one person said what is right and what's wrong. How are you to believe them?
Right, but again, at the end of the day, it came down to my personal input, like choice. They taught me what I needed to know, and then I chose not to do drugs. Then I chose not to go out there and steal. I chose not to go do those things. And
Here's the problem.
I'm from a poverty-stricken home. I'm adopted. What do you mean?
Here's the problem, Will, is that whenever you listen to the teachers, okay, cool. You stay off of the streets in that way, right? But whenever you don't listen to the teachers, you make money, something your family has never had.
Right. So, but
Imagine
again,
that.
individual.
Imagine, Will.
What do you mean?
Well, okay,
For just a second, let's say
I
you
hold
didn't
on.
listen to that teacher.
I can understand senpai because, like, okay, obviously, like, you see, it's hard for me to say because, like, I didn't grow up around a lot of black people. Like, it's like I was around Mexicans my whole life, but it just so happens by happen chance, my first best friend of my life, his name's John Rector. He's half black, half Mexican. His dad was full on black, and I looked at him like a second father. His name was John Rector Sr. Now, John Rector Sr. clued me in on some things, you know, as I got to know him before his unfortunate death, you know, which, you know, I mourned with my best friends. But anyhow, the thing is look, he came from a ghetto. He was, like, straight up, like, never really had a lot. Like, to give you an idea, they grew up so poor, and this is true. They grew up so poor that I remember spending the night at their house, and their dad literally, what we had for dinner was peanut butter and crackers. I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. I saw it, and see, it's different. Now, granted, maybe my dad made different life choices, may have been different. I don't know. But what I understood was there was a certain way that he lived where he did odd jobs to get by, but he made it aware to me that, you know what? He used to be a getaway driver for bank robbers. That's what he used to do. And the way I found that out is because I loaned them my Grand Theft Auto game, Gran Turismo, okay? When it came out, the first Gran Turismo game for PlayStation, because my dad wasn't smart enough to understand that I had a Nintendo 64, and he bought me a PlayStation game. So to give you an idea, I just loaned it to them, and it pissed my dad off eternally because I just ended up giving it to him because their dad, John Rector Sr., loved driving cars, and that's how he clued me into. He used to be a getaway driver because I was like John, because I always addressed him as Mr. John or John Rector, you know. But I always said, you know, John, like, why do you like Gran Turismo so much? He's like, you know, kid. He goes, I'll tell you. He goes, this is true. He goes, I used to be a getaway driver for bank robbers. And I said, get the fuck out. He goes, hey, why do you think I live so close to the border? And he started laughing. You know, like, I understand what Senpai's coming from.
Well, yeah,
a lot of the time, if you're in a system, okay, a system designed by bureaucracy and fucked up government bullshit, okay,
it's going to negatively impact your life. Yes, I got that.
Exactly.
I understand. And it's going to have ripple effects that happen throughout time. But where do you eventually draw the line and take responsibility for your life? Because ultimately, that's the goal for all people. It's literally what Jordan Peterson teaches.
What if taking responsibility for your life is selling drugs and earning the money that you want to make?
Because that's not going to be the option. There's always another alternative. It's
but that is an option.
It's the easy option that people take because they don't know better. Because they're not disciplined. They're not willing to train themselves. They weren't willing to listen when they were in school. That's the point. They're not taking responsibility. They're taking the easiest choice to solve their problems. When all you have to do is fucking just keep trying, dude.
Why would they listen to the school teacher if they could make more money than said school teacher by selling drugs?
because they're also destroying their community and further propagating the same problem that put them in poverty to begin with. Because they're not thinking the shit through.
But to them, they don't give a fuck about the community. It's about them.
So then they are the problem. What?
No, don't get me wrong. That is part of the problem. But how did they get there in the first place?
Irrelevant, because eventually you have to take
sir!
Eventually,
No, sir!
you have to take responsibility for who you are.
No, sir.
Dude,
my guy.
The contest
like,
of
here's the problem.
Go ahead.
Here's my problem that I'm having right now is that you're completely missing it. You can't just say personal responsibility and then that's the whole argument.
The content
it doesn't work that way.
It does, because the content of a man is driven through hard times. If you aren't challenged, you don't know what metric you stand up to.
You're saying selling drugs isn't hard?
I'm selling drugs sell themselves, bitch. What the fuck you mean? People know what they want. The fuck you mean? When I walk in to get some weed, I know what I want.
Hold up. So my man's here be like, pussy sells itself, so it's okay for them to do it, right?
Yeah,
no,
dude,
no. My thought. What I'm saying is that just because something is hard doesn't give you the right to find the easy way out. Like that. Like the content of your character is given, like shown through adversity. So if someone chooses to eventually become a criminal because it was easier to become a criminal than a fucking teacher, then the guy at the end of the day, no matter what his circumstance was, is that he ended up being a piece of shit. This is what it boils down to. Like, you can sit here and be like, oh, well, if this changed in my life, I could have done this, or those are all unknowns. All you have at the end of the day is the person you choose to be. That's it. You don't even get your wife, your loved ones, your kids. None of those fuckers matter, because at the end of the day, they will not be like with you in the end. Like, when it's all said and done, all you have left are your choices.
I love you too, babe.
So like, eventually, like if you put someone in a terrible situation and they become a demon, yeah, it's fucked up that happened. The people that did that were part of the problem, but the guy's still a fucking demon.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. My problem here is that now we agree on something, right? Because before, Will, and this is why people get so upset with you, is that your whole narrative sounds like, nope, it's just their fault and that's it.
But I said it wasn't in the beginning.
But you have now given that the society and the situation itself has turned them into a demon, but it is also their fault to succumbing to such things. Great. We agree.
Right.
How do you fix it? Because you can't just say, be better.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't work.
Like, how you fix
I mean,
it is you just teach
people. The problem is it's unteachable. You know, like, here's the problem.
It's unteachable after the fact. Like, after this shit has happened, it's already too late.
Yeah, but
once the dust settles and clears, you're just going to have negative people. That's the problem.
But so that's my point.
But here's the problem. You can't. Here's the problem. It's greed, is what it boils down to. Like, literally, think about it.
Welcome to capitalism, baby.
Yeah, well, it's not, but it's not just that. It happens in socialism too. It doesn't matter. It boils down to money.
Well, just people just are genetically inclined to be self-preserving. Well, there's just self-preserving.
Self-preserving or greed. Well, you could argue greed and self-preservation could be the same thing.
Right? Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to say, look, negative influences do have an impact. And at the end of the day, if you turn out to be a piece of shit, well, I mean, you know what? That's what you are.
Right. So, but how do we combat that? We combat that by telling people that the future is in their hands.
Can sit there, right. But you could sit there and put it to you this way. Sometimes I like to use a saying when I'm in an argument with somebody that's just so fucking dumbfounded, brick-faced stupid that they just can't see the point of day. Look, you could sit there and have all the evidence in the world. You could sit there and show them textbook fucking example on how to live a healthy fucking lifestyle. And I can guarantee you there's going to be about 5 of them motherfuckers going to be like, nope, ain't going to be for me. Because they're that fucking stupid.
Well,
you know, it's not... and I wouldn't even say stupid. I would just say that they just don't care.
That doesn't mean you don't make the attempt. As a civilization, we need to start being equal with the messages that we put on display. Like earlier in today's episode, I wanted to talk about how men were being held back because we weren't giving them the minor encouragement in their lives to better themselves for the better of their future and their foundation. If you start on an individual level at every single instance of every single one of our lives, that if we wake up every day and we try to optimize ourselves to be the best version of ourselves every fucking day, the same thing can even be boiled down to League of Legends if you wanted to. It's the same way I look to improve at League, is that if we look to be the best version of ourselves constantly, we will constantly hit that mark and then improve. We will keep moving that pendulum. It's like when you like the Jordan Peterson quote, "Clean your room." How are you going to sit here and tell the world what to do when you can't even get your own shit into your own affairs into order? It makes perfect sense that if you want to be a competent individual in our society, you need to start taking responsibility for the choices that you're making every day. You need to start looking to improve yourself off those choices and integrate that into your everyday life so that eventually it bleeds into your professional career, your family career, and then it bleeds into you could start building yourself into someone that other people might want to emulate through competency. And then by doing so, you start positively impacting your community at large simply by working on your individual issues to make yourself a better person. And that bleeds into every person around you until eventually there's nothing but a better, more cohesive unit as a society working together while working on their individual issues.
That sounds like socialism.
How is that? That's the
I'm
opposite.
joking. I had to cut the
Positive vibes for all.
Dude,
Not
for real,
just the
for
few
real.
that can afford it all.
No, so this is why when
Hey, look, remember, between you two, I'm the comfortable medium.
So for me, that's why when people say Jordan Peterson is right wing, it's like the fuck he is. He's right wing in a few areas, but he's mostly left. He even actively speaks that way, like in such regards. Republicans and Democrats need each other because they make a cohesive bond. It's like a what's the word I'm looking for? A symbiotic relationship that typically that you need entrepreneurs and people of those mindsets to build a foundation or create something, and then you need the people that are industrious to run and maintain those things.
The people like me who like to work, like simply, I'm not going to lie to you. Like me being out of work for 2 weeks now has driven me absolutely fucking insane.
And you fall on the right side of the spectrum. So right-wing people typically are more inclined to do their 9 to 5. They're more inclined to show up and do.
And
that.
I love it.
Yeah,
dude. Like to give you an idea, up until now, and even my job knows it. Up until now, since December, I got hired in I think it was like November-ish of last year with this company. And to give you an idea, like even they pointed it out, and I pointed it out to them too. I was like, do you realize up until now, I haven't missed a single day of work.
Oh, dude,
in fact, I've even worked extra days.
And it's true. I've only missed a handful of days of work my entire life, and it was when I was working at a call center. Every other job I've ever had, I've never missed a single day of work.
I have to physically be sick. Like, dude, like my thing is I got that from my dad. My dad taught me hard work, you know, like, and that's the thing. I know my lot in life. I'm always just going to be a cog in a wheel, and I'm fine with that. As long as I have the means to work or produce, I will, because I don't mind.
Well, as long as that machine is willing to pay for my family to be safe and secure.
And that's all I care about. Look, my children are my life. You know, like granted, you don't have kids. Well, not yet, but
never.
My children and my wife are my life. They mean the world to me. I would not trade them for anything. And all I care about is, you know what? I don't want bombs dropping anywhere near my house. I don't want to have to go to war. I don't want to have to fight anybody. All I care about is the well-being of my kids. I want to watch them grow. I want to grow old and die. You know, I want to be able at the end of the fucking road to say, you know what? It was a good life. I enjoyed it. I made many friends. I had a beautiful wife. I had beautiful kids. And at the end of the day, you know, like I get to go see my creator, whoever the fuck it may be. You know, like to me, that's a simple life. That's the simple thing. That's all I want. I don't ask for more than what is needed. yeah, during this whole COVID thing, the extra money was nice. I was able to get ahead, get a few things done. You know, did I think I needed it? No, because I could earn it. Because I earn good money for what I do. You know, and I'm not going to argue that with anybody. I can make even more. I can make more, but I'm not that fucking greedy, and I don't want to be away from home.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain threshold, right? There's a certain
right.
threshold.
Yeah. Exactly. I can make $300 to $400 more a week if I go out on the road, but I don't want to do that. I want to stay at home.
You want to watch your kids grow.
Exactly, dude. Because this, to me, this is their most detrimental life. If they don't have a dad around, what could happen? You know, and that's why I think Senpai was getting at earlier with, you know, literally not having a dad around. I was lucky. I had my dad my whole life, and my mom cut out. And you know, that's why I come from a statistic. I come from a broken home. You know, to give you an idea, my mom pinned a fucking a letter on my chest and handed me and my baby sister I was 10 years old, she was 8, handed me off to some fucking person at the fucking airlines, and then my dad picked us up in San Antonio. I flew all the way with my baby sister, just us two. Okay. All the way from fucking Concord, California to fucking San Antonio, Texas, when my dad picked us up.
And that was a time where you could do something like that, though.
Right, yeah, you couldn't do that nowadays. But you see, like, that was hard for me. Like, literally, it was hard for me to come from a broken home. I never understood it. And to this day, that's why I tell my wife, I was like, I told her before we even fucking said, you know what, yes, let's make this a thing. I told her, I said, I absolutely do not believe in divorce. I will not get one. I want my children to have both of us. It's death do us part. Or, you know, there's times where I just want to fucking take her and rail her out, you know, like over the fucking, you know, I'm like, dude, I'm talking like, you know, there's times where it's just like, dude, I can't stand her, you know, but I never, ever, ever have the inclination of I'm going to leave her, because I feel that because of coming from a broken home, it fucked me up to a degree where I never want to put that on my children.
Right. Again, though,
you
took some form of responsibility in that. When you started your family, you did the opposite.
Well, it is because my grandparents were that way. Like, they were very old fashioned, right. And my grandma and my grandfather hated that my dad ever got his first divorce. You know, God forbid they knew he went through 2 of them. You know,
well, so like, but
it just didn't work. It just didn't work out for my dad. My dad my dad's a hard person to deal with. You know, he knew it. You know, that's why his third marriage, this one right now, he literally made that bitch wait 10 years. I don't mean she's a bitch. That's my stepmom. I love her to death. She's more my mother than my real mother. But he made her wait, you know, 10 years, you know, and it's like, because my dad just flat out, he was like, dude, I'm done with marriage. I ain't dealing with that shit no more. But, you know,
but see,
go ahead.
That still harkens back to the original sentiment that, like, no matter what you're dealt, good men,
you deal with it.
Yeah. You deal with it to the best of your ability. I'm not saying it's easy.
Like, dude, honestly, based on how I was raised and how, like, psycho abusive my mother was, like, I'm surprised I didn't end up a fucking John Wayne Gacy, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Let me just run this by you. So I got it. It was about 2 weeks ago. Me and Steve were sitting around talking, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but Steve said, "Bro, you blow me the fuck away." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck?" He's like, "You're so fucking positive, despite how so much shitty shit has happened in your life, despite the fact that you were literally the poorest person I know." Like, and the fact that, like, I'm living in a goddamn garage at the age of 32 years old. I'm still out here. I'm still trying to upload to YouTube. I'm still trying to follow my dream, despite the massive amount of hurdles that I've had to overcome in my life, and despite the fact that the stupid shit that I went through in my childhood, like the whole being a county kid, being locked up, pretty much graduating from middle school to high school, in a juvie-esque environment. All of these things. And he's like, "Bro, I have no fucking idea how you maintain any positivity after all of that shit."
You want to know what it is? Well, it's because and I hate to say it, it's the way your dad brought you up, man.
Well, like, but that can't be the case.
That's how my dad. Well, no, that's how my dad brought me. My dad was like,
I know, but
no
like,
matter what, own your shit.
I would like to say that's the case, But me and my father probably had 8 conversations my entire life.
Maybe those are the 8 that counted.
Well, I'm just saying, like my father was a hardworking man. He would leave every day at 10 o'clock, and he would come home every night at 11. He'd leave at like 8 o'clock actually and get home at 11. That was his and then on Saturday he would work an additional day, and Sunday was like his only day off my entire life. So Sunday he just fucking chilled and did his own thing. So my entire life, I can account maybe like 20 times where me and my father were in the same room longer than 20 minutes.
Right, but do you not try to emulate that in your life? Is that not what drives you?
I would say no, because like I don't want to be that.
For me, it was a competition with my father. Like to me, my dad's the hardest working motherfucker I ever knew, and I never wanted to ever hear my father tell me that you're a fucking scumbag, you don't get anything done. Well, that would just be detrimental to me.
Well, and see, the problem though that I have is that like no matter what I do, even to my father, I know that the guy loves me and I know that he cares about my well-being, but I know that I'm not his son. My father has an actual son that he had 20, 30 years ago. A person I've never met. And I mean that shit's evident even when you compile the fact that I've been out here since 25. At the age of 25, I've been in Ohio for 7 years, and I haven't seen a single family member since then. And they've been out here. They've been out towards like Missouri to visit my mom's daughter's kids, like my sister, like their grandkids and like the people that are actually part of the family. But I mean, I'm out here like another 200 miles away, and I haven't seen anyone for 7 years. Now I know my parents care about me, but there's always going to be that off-kilter thing that like I'm just the adopted guy. You know what I mean? To some degree.
Right. And I can understand that there'd be some kind of I feel it because like, dude, like here's the deal, like to some degree I can understand that because like my biological mother, dude, it's like, to give you an idea, she came up to visit my sister because my sister and her are pretty close. And like my mother psychologically abused me so much, and I saw through the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Just say bullshit really slow for me one more time.
I saw through the bullshit. But, you know, my little country twang coming out, right? My little Texas accent. Bullshit. But, no, I saw through the bullshit, man. And it's like, dude, she fucked me up so mentally, dude. It's like, it was hard for me to, like, how do I say it where it makes sense? Like, dude, when she came up to visit my sister, I let my daughters go over there because she wanted to see the kids. I could have gone over and seen her. I could have made the time for her. You know what I just do? I just play League of Legends with my boys. But the reason for that is because it's hard for me to look her in the face. You know, after all the bullshit she's put me through, after all the psychological damage she caused, because, dude, I live with it. I live with it.
Daily.
Dude, it hurts me. Sometimes, like you, because obviously as a truck driver, former truck driver, you would know, you get a lot of time to think.
Oh, dude, it's the fucking worst. You think about everything and everything.
Exactly. And I mean, dude, I've replayed memories in my head that I didn't want to replay.
Oh, they get stuck on fucking repeat.
And that's what I'm saying, dude. And like, dude, it's hard for me to sit there. I've forgiven her, of course, you know, because I mean, like, you know, to some degree, I'm a Christian, but I wouldn't say I'm a gun-toting Christian.
So yeah, right? but forgiveness and forgetting are two separate things.
Right? Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, to me, to make amends, I had to forgive, right. And I did. I forgave her. I literally told her over the phone. I was like, "Look, I forgive you everything." You know, what you put me through, what you put my sister through, I could, you know, it was almost unforgivable because I tell you what, for 10 years, I didn't speak to her for 10 years. My dad, I know it scares my dad to death because, dude, if he ever fucked up, I wouldn't talk to him either. You know, like, right. I'm just one of those people, dude, if you fucking cross one of my boundaries, daughters. If you do, you're done. I don't.
Shut the fuck.
I don't.
I crossed your boundary. You cut me out of your life. You came back 6 months later.
Yeah, but it's because I love you, fat fuck.
Hey, you love your dad too, motherfucker.
And I do. My daddy's my world. I won't lie to you. Okay, dude. The hardest day in my life is gonna be the day my dad dies. I know. It's literally gonna be me crawling into a whiskey bottle, and I don't know when I'll come out.
Well, again, that's why I stand by so much by what Jordan Peterson preaches, man. Is that he says that in that situation, you got to be the biggest man at that funeral. Or his actual quote is, "Be the biggest man at your father's funeral," or some shit like that. And it's like some fucking heavy shit. Take on the burden of those responsibilities, because, like, again, the idea is that we don't find happiness. Like, happiness isn't something that we are just given. Like, you can't just pursue happiness, because what gives you happiness is fleeting and constantly changing.
Well, it's true. I mean, like, dude, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been legal. Well, okay, I should lie. It's 12 to 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Legal Legends wasn't my main happiness, because it is my happiness. I'm not going to lie to you. League to me is my outlet. That's where I get to take out my anger. That's where I get to have fun with my boys. That's where I get to cut up and cut loose, you know?
No, see, and I got you on that, but I think ultimately that League of Legends is your respite from your activities that conquer your mind on a daily. I think that the true happiness for you is providing for your family. And
yeah. I mean, right. That to me, that goes without saying, dude. Like, okay.
Well, yeah, but see,
to give you an idea, each one of my daughters, okay, my biggest gift to my daughters, and the one thing I want them to remember me by, their keepsakes, each one of them have a Tibbers, like a Tibbers doll. Yeah, I'm not shitting you. Like, for instance, my baby has the KDA Tibbers. My middle child has the Snow Day Tibbers, and my oldest has the original Tibbers.
Yeah,
I'll never forget. Yeah, I'll never forget the day I brought Aslan, my oldest, her Tibbers. I got off the road and I made sure that like, it got delivered to the house like about a week or two before I got home, but I made sure that I was there when I gave it to her, because that was going to mean the world. And now I'll tell you this, dude, my daughter has never slept a night in bed without that fucking Tibbers.
Right.
Each one of them, they love their bears.
Right.
Like, they take care of Tibbers, and each one of them call them Tibbers, you know? And that's the thing, like, to me, that's something that can never replace. That's a memory that can never be replaced, ever.
Right.
No matter what.
And that's the point though, right? Like, so the things that actually bring you happiness are the responsibilities in your life, because
being a parent, yeah, dude. So, dude, when motherfuckers used to tell me pre-children that, oh yeah, man, having kids changed your life, I used to laugh at them motherfuckers. No, it doesn't.
Like, just look at Tyler. Tyler's entire life just built around chasing booty, and now he's literally like in love with his kid.
Daddy. Yeah, and dude, it does. Like, dude, the minute I held my oldest, it's like something kicks off in your DNA, man. Something in your brain just like that. Well, at least for me.
It's a genetic thing. It's like, it's built into who you are, man. Our goal as people is to pass on that.
Well, to give you an idea, I sold cell phones at Cricket. Like, that's what I was doing when my oldest was born. And I kept doing that until my second one came around. I was like, well, fuck, this one's already kind of expensive. You know, adding another one to the mix is going to be a little more expensive. So that's when I said, fuck it. And I finally, because for years I was saying, I could be a truck driver. My dad's done it. My brothers have done it.
I remember trying to fucking convince you to do it, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. You remember. And that's when I finally kicked it off. And that's when you guys didn't see me for a long time. I went OTR, you know?
I know. Like, I have a YouTube video literally where it's the day Josh left on where I'm playing fiddlesticks and shit bricks.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, it just snapped in my head. I was like, dude, this ain't gonna cut the cheese no more. Daddy needs to make the fucking bacon, you know?
Right.
But anyhow, I think we should end it off here because we're getting sentimental. That's bullshit.
We do need at least one thing from Century. He hasn't said anything in a while, and he's like the main character with that soothing voice. He ain't even here, the bitch.
This motherfucker went AFK. He was like, man, they're talking about family.
They're talking about fucking some lame ass shit.
Well, I think we could easily end it here. I think Senpai would agree. Maybe motherfucker fell asleep. I don't know.
Yeah, we are some boring old white men.
Get off my lawn.
So that's the first episode of
Ginger Beard Bros.
Ginger Beard Bros. We got to find out if Century's beard is red if he had one, because I see he's got a little scruff right there on his chin on the picture he drew of himself. I wonder if he's got a little.
Oh,
there
I didn't
he is.
draw that. My homie drew that face.
Now he awake. Now he awake.
Because I know this man's is an artist.
Oh, dude, no, man. I just had to fucking stop talking because I was getting very mad for no reason, even though I know Will is probably not thinking in the way that I think that he's thinking, but he uses the talking points, and I just get so fucking caught up in my shit. Ugh.
Senpai, here's the deal. Again, I'm the comfortable medium between you two. There's things that Will says that I completely fucking don't agree with. And we've had our arguments, but it makes me laugh. Oh, you a sexy motherfucker. Look at this guy. I can easily say that as a straight man.
Yo, my webcam ain't even kicking on. Hold on. Oh, that's right. It won't kick on while I'm recording. She.
Daddy don't have a webcam, and if I did, you wouldn't want to see me because Daddy naked is a jaybird, dude.
Oh, come on, don't say that shit.
Daddy always naked, dude. I'm always naked, man. Shit. If I ain't working, dude, I gotta be free spirit as a motherfucker. I got a blanket around me, but yeah.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie though, Century, you are one gorgeous man.
Thank you. I try my best.
Dude, for real, dude, I love the hair, bro. Don't even gonna lie to you. Dude. Like I'm about that right now as a straight man. I'm like, this motherfucker got better hair than me, dude. And I still got a full head of hair, thank God.